You're 3 wide.
Unbelievable!
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggression. We probably dropped the green car. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart!
They're so nice to see at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well!
Jump. Coming white.
Hello. Come back, caught him.
That was incredible. Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hendersonville, Tennessee is where half of this show is coming to you live from tonight. And it's also the, I guess, late hometown of high school Taylor Swift. And it's also the hometown of this week's first-time Cup Series winner, Josh Berry.
Okay, can we get a sign on the Welcome to Hendersonville sign the way Joseph Newgarden has one now? Like,
Oh, come on. They'll put home of Taylor Swift before they put the drivers on there. You know it.
the Joseph New. I drove by it yesterday coming back from Goodlettsville.
Boy, they did do that. I forgot about
yeah.
that. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. They forgot
Driving
about that
into town, they never made it public or anything. I just turned on the local news one day and they're like, "This morning, IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden was here to put this sign up," and I'm like, "Well, what the hell? I would have been there."
He at least needs like a street named after him. Barry, I mean.
Well,
Cherry Street, Berry Street. Back to back. It fits.
Open up a Ben and Jerry's on Berry Street. It just makes sense.
I like it. Oh, there's a fourth, guys. Is your screen glitching? Because I have a fourth box. It's not just the three of us.
Oh, yeah. Who is that? Who is here? Oh, you are muted, actually. We cannot hear you.
Oh, hi. There we go. Damn it. What's up?
Jet, be aware of your surroundings.
I swear to
Be
God.
aware of your microphone.
I swear, how many times is that going to be creeping up every single time I pop on here?
I mean, it's tradition at this point.
We all have a
You're
catchphrase.
going to be 44 years old. We're still going to be telling you that one day. So
I swear, on my gravestone is just going to be, he wasn't aware of his surroundings. That's why he's there.
Let's hope that's not the reason you end up there.
When I'm like 80, when I'm like in my 90s.
One day when we are old and gone, you're going to be buried not far away from Slap Shoes. And on his, it's going to say, he wasn't aware of his surroundings.
Oh, Lord, give me strength.
We appreciate you being on here tonight to talk a little Vegas homestead action. Should be a good show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome. I can't wait. Thank y'all for having me on again.
So,
Well, I mean,
Josh Berry.
he made all these great graphics. We got
That's
to
right.
at least credit him. I mean,
Oh,
all
yeah,
this
good
stuff
point.
that we're gonna have on tonight because it's a full slate is thanks to Jet. Like the least we can do is have you on.
Hey, it's the least I can do to help y'all out. I mean, y'all been rolling on for 8 seasons now, 8 years now. I mean, it's just my way of saying of giving back. So that's it.
You're damn good at it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will wait till we'll have more super chats later at the super chat stage break. But Vogues just sent $20 and said, "I am paying you $20 to tell you that Jet owes me $10."
Whoa, wait. Hold up. What do you mean? I don't agree to that. All right. Listen, if you want to, Vogues, I know things are getting rough. All right. Okay. Listen, I got 15. Do some for me. All right. How about that?
He's putting it on the table.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's perfect.
Super
He's putting
chat,
on
super chat debt collection going on over here. I don't know what this night has got in store for us.
I mean, he's putting it all out on the table like he's in Vegas.
Ooh, that's a good segue.
We might know a guy later that can find debt relief people that can just take care of this whole situation.
There's too many segues going on right now.
Let's segue into the Cup Series race because we're getting off track, off the rails already. Josh Berry from Hendersonville, Tennessee, does get the win for the Wood Brothers. He is the 101st win for this historic team. And guys, he busted every single one of our playoff brackets. I don't know, Jet, did you have them on yours? I don't know.
Absolutely not. I think based on what we saw with Josh Berry the last couple weeks, I think you can make a really good argument that, all right, he's going to put us some very strong runs, but I don't think anyone had him winning this race, especially when you look at the other contenders that were in play that I felt like were much better than the 21. But he just executed, didn't make mistakes, put his car where he needed to put it, and capitalize. So I just can't help but feel happy for him, because like it's a win that you cannot look at and go, oh, it's great, but it's not like with the other driver, the 21 last year, where it's like, oh, this is great, but you have to look at the other side of things. This one is just happy all around for a guy that went from late models, who seemed to be, no one ever thought that he would even make it anywhere near the Cup Series, considering his age, to now being a Cup winner for the most legendary team in NASCAR. I mean, you can't ride any better than that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And like you said, you can't put an asterisk next to this win. I mean, the last 2 weeks, he's had top 5, at least top 10 equipment, I would say, or on the speed charts. 4th at Phoenix the week before, sort of showed everyone that, hey, keep an eye on this team. Still, nobody expected them to go out and win, but keep an eye on them. What impressed me most last week and this week was in both races, Josh Berry suffered some sort of mid-race setback. It was a bad pit stop, I believe, at Phoenix that put them back around 30th, drove his way back to 4th. Didn't need to use the option tire, didn't get off sequence, I should say, was just able to grind his way to a top 5. And then here at Las Vegas, once again, they had setbacks and were able to work their way back. I think he pit twice for a loose wheel midway through this race, was able to work his way back through the field, employed some strategy, got a timely caution, sure, but when push came to shove, he went up and passed the 99, who was also a good car, and got the win straight up. So this is a team that we all know comes out of the Penske shop. They have A-tier equipment, let's say. I mean, it's all the same equipment, but they have the resources of the best teams, but we haven't seen them run like one of the best teams in years. If this happened last year, if they fall to 30th midway through the race, they're not coming back from that if this is 1 year ago. So that really speaks to how strong Barry and new crew chief Miles Stanley are to fire off this season. They're doing things with that 21 car we haven't seen since the Ryan Blaney days 7-8 years ago. It's been that long.
Oh, and it's just crazy. And I put this kind of little fact in here. In the last 17 races, they've won 2 of them. Only teams that have won more are Hendrick, Gibbs, and Penske.
That is crazy.
The Wood brothers are the only other one that
and all the Gibbs wins are Christopher Bell. I mean, Hamlin and the 19.
You said the name. You said the name. We have to every time, the first time we hear it.
All right, there we go. We got that out of the way. This is like the Harvick word of the week that like released all the tension. We don't have to talk about it again.
If only we knew somebody who could find a way to just talk to the people at Taco Bell and just pitch them an idea for this driver that they have. If only we knew somebody.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
But yeah, Bell's streak is over. But I mean, I didn't even think that we'd be talking this far. I don't think any of us did. I mean, Danny, you talked about it earlier. I have the list of our playoff predictions right here. I save it for the end of the regular season every year. And he's one of the drivers that all 3 of us were out of. One of the 16 drivers we were unanimous on for saying, nah, he ain't going to make it. And it's not like he's doing bad either. I mean, granted, 5 races in, but still 14th in overall points, ahead of McDowell, ahead of Kyle Busch, ahead of Suarez, Briscoe.
Yeah, he led 50 laps at Atlanta. I think he won a stage. Was it at Daytona or was that also at Atlanta? He won a stage. Like he's shown that Penske speed at the super speedways. And really every race but Coda, which he's not a good road racer. Take Coda out. He's been very competitive in 4 of the first 5 races this year. And where did he finish at Bowman Gray? Wasn't he top like 12?
I remember he was charging.
I'll look it up.
Exactly.
I remember he took over. He made a good charge in his in the last chance qualifier to be able to.
Did he make the race? Watch him not have made the race, and I'm completely misremembering this.
I think he did.
He finished 13th.
Wasn't he in just a plain red car for that race too?
Yeah.
And then,
Yes.
Yeah.
He finished 13th in the main event. Not bad.
To be perfectly clear, going into this season, what reasons did we have to think he would be a winner this year? Because, I mean, we hadn't seen him really look great. And since, he was in JRM equipment in the Xfinity Series last year, I think he had a flash at Bristol. He got the pole there and he led the first few laps, but then he fell off, which everyone did with those tires there. But then after that, SHR was a fading team. We didn't really see much of what he or any of the other guys could do there. The 21, they got to win. felt random, and other than that, that was it. But we wouldn't have expected either one of those combinations to equal a win in their first season together. None of us would have thought that.
Well, and I got to check, but I'm pretty sure last year he had like 9 or 10 DNFs or something like that. And maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure he had a lot.
The second half of the year, they fell off a cliff. Like it was it was probably a combination of people leaving Stuart Haas. Maybe it was tracks not in their wheelhouse. I don't know what it was, but they were like 19th in points midway through the season, pretty respectable. And then, DNFs and bad runs in the second half of the year. It ended with a whimper, unfortunately. Basically, after he announced he was going to the Wood Brothers, it's like the team gave up. That's how it seems.
10 DNFs last year.
Now, one thing though. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Sorry.
No, that's just it's a oof.
I just want to say one thing that we do have to always get the question with this. There's always been this talk about with the Wood Brothers because of the situation in their relationship with Penske. Is the success going to be because the Wood Brothers made some changes, or is it because they're basically a quote unquote fourth Penske car? Because that's always been the narrative: is if they suck, it's the Wood Brothers. If they do great, it's because they're affiliated with Penske. So it's like, that's one thing though that it does. For me personally, it's a bit annoying because it's always like, okay, regardless of where the 21 stands, Josh Berry he's him right now for 2025. He's going to be, in my eyes, a real dark horse that I don't think he's going to make a deep playoff run, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if we see this 21 car in contention much more later on in the season.
Yeah,
I'll definitely put him on my radar for a few more races, and maybe we'll get a chance to see what his short track skill is going to do this year too. When we're going to Bristol soon, we'll have Martinsville coming up. Never know what can happen at tracks like that too.
Real quick on that, what you just said a moment ago, Jet, about, and I heard the Wood Brothers sort of, I don't want to say griping about how the narrative is that we suck and it's all Penske. And that's not the narrative I see. The problem is Wood Brothers got to take some accountability. They replaced a playoff caliber driver in Matt DiBenedetto with an unproven 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And struggled for 3 years. Like you guys, I mean, maybe it was Penske pulling the strings, in which case then Penske does deserve most of the credit. But you hired Harrison Burton when everyone knew he wasn't ready for the Cup Series. We hoped in 2 or 3 years he'd be decent, but that was never a guarantee. Everyone said in 2022 that Harrison Burton was a clear downgrade over Matt DiBenedetto. You hired him. So it's your fault. You struggled for 3 years. It's not all Penske saving you in 2025. Penske's been there all along. That's why it's been so alarming. Y'all struggled so bad for 3 years because you've had the Penske support all along. So I did the kind of moaning and groaning about the social media narrative sort of rang hollow to me. I was kind of like, shrugging my shoulders at it.
I'm back. I just realized it. I realized I went off for a second.
Our 3 vertical screens for a moment there. I felt comfortable once again. Now I'm uncomfortable. I feel like there's too much empty space over here.
By the way, Justin Drake, big W for the hundo. Appreciate that, man. We'll make sure we read that. So it looks like you're traveling on spring break. We'll read all those super chats coming up here at the super chat.
Very generous.
At the top of the hour. But as much as we can talk good about Josh Berry, he wasn't the only person who really stood out in this race. Early on, we saw guys like Austin Cindric and Alex Bowman having good starts to the race, but in the end, this finish, I don't want to say it was like 07 Coke 600 levels of odd, but we had Josh Berry first, Daniel Suarez second, Ryan Preece third, and then AJ Allmendinger also got 8th place in this race. So a few good finishes that were also notable at the end of this one.
Yeah, it's again the timing of that late caution in the middle of several drivers trying a different fuel strategy shook up the running order. And as great as the next gen car has performed at intermediate tracks, Las Vegas is the one where you can still aero block. It's very difficult to pass through the field. I think William Byron, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, even, who looked really good in the opening stage, they were able to work their way back to like 5th, 6th. I think Larson was 9th, but when they got cycled back to I think Larson was back around 18th or 19th on a restart in stage 3, as good as his car was, maybe the best in the field outside of Blaney, it was impossible to go from 18th to 1st in a significant amount of time. So once it was Barry and Suarez and some of those guys up front with clean air, I thought Byron was going to get to him, but when Ross put that nasty block, it was like, oh, nope, there goes the 24 chances. Like that was he needed to strike then and missed.
I'll say this. I do think that outside of maybe like Texas, I'd say Las Vegas, I think, is probably the weakest link racing wise of the 1.5 miles right now, which is kind of amazing in the sense because it's not bad racing.
No,
it's just the next gen is really good at these tracks. On the other end with the results, though, Suarez to me is the one, like, I know he's probably kicking himself for losing that, but no matter what way you look at it, not just for this year, but just also for the free agency side of it and silly season, like that's huge for him. He needs to, one, make it as difficult as possible, if it is possible to make it difficult for Justin Marks to get rid of him. Have that good year, have your best year. And if Zilich ends up faltering a lot in Xfinity, maybe you can make the case that you deserve one more year in that 99 before he jumps up. But if he ends up being a free agent like we think he's going to be, like those are the kind of runs. Doesn't matter how you get up there. If you're finishing second, if you're being up front, racing for the win, that's how you're going to put yourself out there and be like, see, I deserve a ride in the Cup Series. I am capable of winning Cup races, and not just a road course, not just a super speedway, at a 1.5 mile track against the best of the best.
To Suarez's credit, last 3 races, he was running top 10 when he crashed at Coda. That was his fault. Running top 10 at Phoenix when he crashed, not his fault. Second place after, I think, running top 10 a lot of the day at Vegas. Like, maybe it's all of Trackhouse because Chastain got a top 5, or maybe it's just Suarez. Maybe he actually has, figured something out this year, and they just need to get the finishes more consistently. Like there's a glimmer of hope for Daniel Suarez after what looked to be a really rough start to the year.
Yeah, that's how I viewed it with Suarez. Like, I think, you mentioned, Danny, about like it's like a 07 Coke 600. Barry, he showed real strong pace throughout the entire race, but as well as with Suarez. And I felt like what you said, Eric, I think he just needed in that 99 team, just needed to have a clean race. You mentioned the last 2 weeks, Coda was running the top 10, took himself out, and Connor Zilich. And then last weekend got caught up with Kathy Leg. Like, I feel like there's something in this 99 team because 3 different tracks and they've ran well in all 3 of them.
That's true.
I think there's something more with this 99 team, and this second place run. We're now going to a track this week that it's not exactly the same, but it's another 1.5 mile track in Miami. If they can be able to put together a consistent run of clean finishes, this 99 team, specifically with Daniel Suarez and with free agency coming up, his confidence level is just going to get a bit more and more and more. And I feel like this 99 team could be a big sleeper as we head into the middle portion of the season, based on how he's been running the last 3 weeks on pure speed.
I wanted to mention, because of this finish, like how do you get a bad Atlanta, we talked about all that. He's 19th in points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is not terrible. It's not great. Yeah. It's not terrible. You can work with that. It's early enough. You can work with that.
Well, and there's drivers up there that we don't know are proven enough yet that are going to be
he'll pass Nemechek. He'll pass maybe Priest. He'll pass Stenhouse. Maybe Dowell.
Yeah, I mean, there is room for people like him, Priest, who was up there again with another solid run up in 18th. Briscoe's there. Like there is a lot of room, and we're starting to already see that formation of who's going to be on that battle this year, who's going to be on the battle lines points wise, and it's really close when you look at basically like 9th through 16th, and then there's like I think 19th with Suarez, down to 24th with Gilliland, is separated by 3 points between 6 drivers, 5
crazy.
Drivers. So I mean, this early, it's like a restart. They talked about on restarts, got to make up as much spots as possible. Like, this is how the start of the year is. You got to get ahead of them now, so that you can at least have that buffer built up. Because I say that by the time you get to May, you pretty much know who's going to be there all year, and it's this time of the year that you separate yourself.
And establishing a pecking order.
And you think of a guy like a Josh Berry, for them it's a huge relief just getting the win. And because now they can set themselves up in situations, they can take risks at the end of some of these races, say we've got to win. They didn't expect us to have a win. We could stretch it on gas and maybe try to get another win that we didn't see coming and aid us better going into the playoffs. you're going to have guys like Christopher Bell who goes on a 3-race run. He's probably going to win some more this year, I'd imagine. But then, a guy like him now gives you, you get that win that no one saw coming. It gives you freedom to take risks as we get on for the season now.
Absolutely.
We're talking points, we're talking wins, risks, stuff like that. Suarez 22 out, 22 in right now is Joey Logano, who I honestly thought probably should have won this race had they not had the pit road issues. Comes in first, comes out 21st.
They used all the Vegas luck last year, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was another day where I don't think, I know he qualified well, but I don't think he faded slowly but surely that whole first half of the race. I don't think he was a top 5 car. Give him clean air, he can make it work, I suppose, like most could. But yeah, it was another race I felt like where Logano was maybe the 4th best Penske car if we include Barry. Kind of weird to think about. I mean, Cindric won a stage. I mean, straight up. So,
well,
Cindric
and then he needed
that he has looked a whole lot better this year than I think I expected him to be, and I will not be shocked if his win comes sooner rather than later.
Another driver, just real quick, going to mention that we can move on. Cindric is 21st in points, which sounds that's kind of mid. That's Cindric. Remember, he had a 50-point penalty.
Yeah. Not bad for even with all that.
Yeah, all things considered.
You know who he'd be tied with if the 50 points were there?
I think Blaney, right?
Yeah, plus 29 on the bottom. Ryan Blaney, he'd be tied with.
Wow.
They're elevating. I mean, I think you could make the case that a lot of times too Logano has a little bad luck, but you could make the case that he's the 4th guy of the Penske stable right now. Barry's running up front more. Blaney has been, I think, the most consistent up there, but Cindric is popping off a little bit. It's like overall, Penske has actually, I think, elevated these first 5 races compared to how they kind of were last year in general.
Yes, they're off to a faster start than they were this time 1 year ago. That is, inarguable.
I'm actually going to give the chat a poll here. Who from Penske wins first, Cindric, Blaney, or Logano? Let me know what you guys think.
That's a good question, honestly.
Whoever finishes last in this poll, because that seems like that's the Penske way. Like, history is going to look back on the championship list and be like, man, Penske had a dynasty in the start of the next gen era, and it doesn't feel like it at all.
No.
I mean, Blaney's the clear favorite, it looks like here, but
I think it's because of the next 2 tracks we're going to. That makes him more likely.
Yeah, I just wouldn't be shocked if Cindric pulls it off somehow.
If only they hadn't moved Gateway in New Hampshire into the playoffs. I hope that doesn't come back to bite him.
Yeah, but he's also the kind of driver he could shock you. We could go to Bristol or something like that. He could shock you.
Oh, he could. He absolutely could. Yeah.
Well, I'm not shocked at all with is the fact that Hendrick Motorsports, all 4 of them top 10 this week.
Yeah, and kind of quiet. It's, Byron was up front. I thought maybe he had one of the best cars. Larson, earned stage points, had one of the best cars. Yeah, Elliott and Bowman scratching and claw. Bowman came back from, I think was he a lap down at one point after after hitting under green.
He made an unexpected pit stop, I think.
Yes. To come back and finish 7th, Hendrick Motorsports, it's not been super flashy this year. The one win they have, Byron, I think, led only 1 lap or very few laps, but they keep getting the results. I mean, I think Bowman, Byron, and Elliott are top 5 in points, and Larson, it'll be on the bottom eventually, I think is 6th or 7th. So they are knocking on the door of wins. They're just not getting them, at the clip they would expect. But yeah, just another solid day.
They'll all be in contention this weekend. Larson especially. Byron's won here before. Elliott hasn't won at Miami before.
I don't think
they led a ton of laps last year in that race.
I think Bowman's the only one I would not expect in top 10. I don't know.
He's tied for the most top 10s in Cup so far this year.
Him and Byron with
Bowman's
4.
a sleeper. I mean, I feel like he's always been ever since he's been in the 48 car. It's always been these 2 drivers, and then, oh, hey, there's Bowman right here. So I don't know. Maybe he could surprise.
I'm looking at the numbers here, and I'm surprised Bowman hasn't had a top 5 yet this year, though. He has 0.
I think he had pace for it this weekend. Things happened.
Yeah.
He's one of those drivers who it's hard to pass even with a really good car.
Well, and kind of going back a little bit, I'm looking down the list, and I had to I had to do a double take and double check. Like Joey Logano doesn't have a top 10 this year yet.
No,
But he's got the most laps led, I think, of all drivers.
that is
Yeah,
true.
247.
Super speedway merchant.
That's a
Yeah,
weird stat.
first is Joey Logano 247, and unless I'm missing something, I think
Cindric.
second, Cindric 159, and then it's Blaney for Team Penske has led 24. And he's the one we're thinking is the best one. And he's the one who is winning this poll by a landslide right now of who they think is going to win next. I'm just saying it's a weird year already.
Yeah, equally confusing as Penske, I think, is Joe Gibbs Racing. They were oddly off. Really, it came down to execution on pit road. You know, Hamlin and Briscoe's teams, of course, made mistakes earlier. Hamlin, I think, sped on pit road, was his ultimate undoing. Later on, of course, Bell had the issue, had the heads up call to pit in Briscoe's box and at least, you know, salvage what they could. Briscoe, Ty Gibbs got run over by Carson Hocevar, miscommunicated. Like, there was a lot of execution issues at Gibbs. The results look bad. I think Bell 12th was their best finisher, but underneath the results, Denny Hamlin was in position for a top 5, partially on strategy before they pit at an untimely moment. And Briscoe, to his credit, came back from like 3 or 4 laps down to finish 17th, which shows that, okay, there was something in that car. They just never really got a chance to show it. So yeah, but Gibbs is another confusing team. Ty Gibbs, it's a confusing driver right now, is on one of the coldest 10 race stretches of all time, going back to the end of last season. It's inexplicable at this point what this guy's got to do to just finish a race respectably.
Yeah, Carsboy 95 brings up a good point about Ty Gibbs. I think he's only like 1 or 2 races away at this point from passing JJ Yeley as the most JGR starts without a Cup Series win.
Oh, Jesus.
That's rough.
Keep in mind, does it, if anyone can pull up, has Ty's best finish so far? Because I know Yaley finished second at least.
Does Ty have a second?
I think he's had a second.
I know he's had that third and fourth. I know he's had thirds and fourths. I don't know if he's had a second.
But obviously those have been the last 2 years, not this year. That's for sure. Peter Strada said he has finished second before, and I think I remember that.
I don't know what is it. It can't just be his, because we know he got a new crew chief. It can't just be the crew chief. Like, it can't be that far off. I mean, tonight,
it's one of those things. We could be talking about this right now, and then in like a few weeks, we're talking about how you just won at Bristol. We don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, like I still have so much faith in that equipment, and I know he was in the best car in ARCA, best car in Xfinity, but he did some really impressive things back in those days at 17, 18, 19 years old. So you feel like he's going to turn it around. It's got to happen sooner rather than later, because you hate to see this still young driver just spiral and spiral and spiral. We talked about this a lot last week. I mean, it's just, I hate this being a topic after every race.
But I mean, I'll add to it, because I do think he'll turn it around. I don't know if it's soon, if it's this year, if it's next year, whatever. I mean, his numbers when he was 18, 19-year-old in Xfinity, from 2021 to 2022, he won 11 of 51 races in that time.
Solid clip.
And I think we can also agree that was a pretty competitive time for the Xfinity Series. Like right now, it's pretty wide open, but I mean, you had some pretty big heavy hitters, including the heavy hitters you have today, and then some more. So I'm not worried of the talent side of it. I think they'll turn it around. But I would argue of anyone in the field outside of maybe Cole Custer, who's the only one that's started every race that's further behind him in points. I'm going to say I think it's got to be pretty much just go for the win at this point, because 60 points, he's still technically within a race at the cut line, but somebody is going to move.
Yeah,
it's going to move up. I mean, at this point, you honestly should probably just look at trying. If you're looking to point your way in, like, just try to get top 10 and then adjust as the summer goes on. If it's one way or another, like, that's really where I think the line should be looked at with it. But I do think honestly that they'll turn it around. It just might take half the season, which we've seen that before with teams. Speaking of turning stuff around or turning completely off the car, was it 2022? Because I feel like we saw way more tires coming off the car this week than we've seen in a while, and a lot this year.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild what we ended up seeing this weekend.
Well, it's just it's. I know that there's been a little bit more this year, and I know that this is a thing that's been with the next gen for a while, but it's like this weekend in particular, it was a storyline the entire race.
It really was. It altered so many dates, and it was big teams too. It wasn't, the 10 car, with like a third string RCR pit crew or something like, had a wheel fall off. No, it was Briscoe, Bell,
Did Bowman
Kyle Busch
had concerns of a loose wheel?
They had a vibration,
yeah,
which is probably what that was. So like that's a Hendrick crew. Like it was top tier teams making mistakes. Which you can't make those, especially in a race like this where track position matters a lot. So surprising that like everyone forgot to know how to pit the car. I thought they were going to put that guy. What's that Xfinity commercial they keep showing now where the guy's like, I could be on the pit crew. Maybe he should be. He do as good a job as half the tire changers out there now. It's not always on the tire changer. Sometimes it's on the jack and the timing. I don't want to throw any one individual position under the bus, but yeah, it was a rough weekend.
Shout out though to Bell and that team. That was some pretty crafty thinking. I'm wondering if NASCAR is going to make some kind of rule about that or not. Like I wonder what the reaction will be to that if that becomes a thing moving forward.
I don't think they're doing anything about that. I think
I feel like that was handled appropriately. He knew he'd get a penalty for doing it, but I don't necessarily see, anything more than that being what you do. You just penalize if that happens, but it can be done. It's better than them going out there and having a tire fall off.
Yeah, I didn't listen to Holler Talk, the podcast yet, but I thought I saw a headline that says they're not planning to change any rules. And I don't think they need to overcomplicate. Like, it's not easy to do what Bell and that team did to relay information in real time that quickly, to merge across 3 lanes of traffic and just happen to know where your teammate's box was and have time to make that move. Like, that's not going to, other teams could be in the exact same position next weekend and not have the opportunity to do what Bell did. It was the perfect storm, and it was still a penalty. Like, it ultimately, he's had to restart last. Like, it is still a penalty. I get that the argument that like, oh, well, a single car team doesn't have that advantage. It's like, well, you're a single car team.
What's just pull into a
new car.
I'll
do it.
Okay, I'll argue that part a little bit, but I'm going to say I agree. I don't think it should be like any added penalty. I simply am saying like it's NASCAR. We can overcomplicate we overcomplicated qualifying. We can overcomplicate anything. So the only thing I kind of push back on is I do think there's so many unfair advantages already for teams with multiple cars, and this is a NASCAR made issue. If we're gonna have something in the name of safety, we might as well. We have a bunch of empty boxes we're not using. We don't use the first box anyway. Why don't we just have a safety changer that can tighten them if we're like, oh crap, like it's coming off, or the wheel came off and we don't want to drive around the damn track, kind of thing. Because at that point, if it's under green, if it's under yellow, like that is a safety thing. You'd still get penalized the same way it would if it came off on pit road or whatnot, but you're not having to, go through like, well, this team has this opportunity, but this team doesn't, in the back and forth. I mean, I think it's safety, competition. I think it can all be solved with that at the end until we solve the fact that this is something that NASCAR completely caused. I mean, it is.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, NASCAR caused it. The teams seem to have figured out how to work with it, and then this weekend they forgot. Yeah, they want to. If we want to add a ghost pit crew to every race, I don't know if NASCAR is willing to put that budget, but okay, or put that in their budget. But okay, we could do that. Thing is, like, even the single car teams, nobody is truly a single car team anymore, except for maybe like the 66 or the 78 when they race. Everyone has leased pit crews from other big teams. So like theoretically, even the Wood brothers, they're a single car team, but that's a Penske pit crew. I'm sure if they pulled into the 22 box, it's fine. If the 51 has an issue, I don't know where they get their pit crews from. Do they lease them from RFK? Does RFK do their own pit crews? I think they do. Pull into the 6 box or the 17.
I don't know if it's different now that they're Hayek, but I think in the past the 47 had RFK.
Yeah, but it's not always like perfectly aligned by manufacturer. Like you would think they might have like Hendrick crews, but sometimes it's random.
I think it's aligned also by like charter as well. Like some
Maybe.
charters lease to others and things like that. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking like one way or another, whether it's something that's communicated among the teams, whether it's NASCAR having a jack man and a tire changer, just two people at the end of pit road, like don't fuel them up. Like that's an unfair advantage to you. They're one way or another. I think that the teams in NASCAR need to work together to make sure we can at least mitigate the safety aspect of a tire flying off. Because I'm like, yes, this is something that's kind of flared up recently again, but it's like we all know at some point, because NASCAR never can catch a break with good luck, especially in their own created problems. At some point, someone's going to have a tire fly off and it's going to fly into the stands at some point because just stupid stuff happens. It's NASCAR. We've seen it all.
Thinking of stuff happening, 2 weeks in a row, we actually saw a little bit bigger wreck than we expected to see, and this one took out some favorites like Blaney and a few others.
I
Yes.
love watching Blaney's in-car camera. It is so entertaining. He's mid-spin, about to run into another car, and you just see him be like,
It's so funny. In car Ryan Blaney and outside the car Ryan Blaney is like two different worlds. Even how they talk, like I feel like the way Blaney talks outside the car compared to his voice inside the car, I'm like, that's not the same person. But it is so entertaining hearing him get animated. I know it sounds bad, but it's like it sounds really bad, but it's like it's kind of fun when
When he's pissed.
when things kind of go wrong for him. Just because of how he handles it, it is super funny, but it is tough for him. I mean,
was it the Daytona 522 when he's like mid-crash after the race? He's like, I'm going to kill that mother effer. I'm like, damn, man, that's your teammate. Like, no love lost.
I feel like with one of us, if we're in a crash, we're just hoping that, all right, we're good. Like, our limbs are smooth, we're good. We're not thinking about, all right, I got to go kill my teammate now.
You're not like reaching for the button in that moment, but he is. Well, what I found even crazier was he got out of the car and basically took the blame for the wreck, which I mean, maybe he shares in it, but like, I don't think that was all on him, right? Like I felt like the 20 came up a little high, didn't exactly cut them off, but gave them very little room. And I think Blaney just overcompensated for that slightly and got into the wall. So I don't know. I just thought I was surprised. And honestly, I don't want to say impressed because I don't want guys to take blames. I don't want it to become like a Chastain ordeal where he's like being blamed for things he didn't cause. I don't want to see that. But I at least respect like Blaney kind of taking the high road, not willing to throw someone under the bus without knowing exactly what happened. Like he was kind of like, yeah, it was on us. I misheard the spotter and I moved up further than I should. Like, I don't know. At least I respected that, even if I don't fully agree that it was all his fault.
And it also, I mean, with that, Blaney was pretty good out there. Like he had issues early, worked his way back up there. But that pretty much ruined the race for Bubba Wallace, who had been running top 5. I think that was one of his best. I'd say it's one of his best runs in a while, just off pure speed with that team. I believe that got Noah Gragson, right? He was in that. And I don't know if it was connected to his flat tire at the end, but that car was not the same car afterwards. He was running like top 15 or so around that point. So there were some really good teams that did not get the result they probably deserve. I can probably look at the finishing order and see some of them. I mean, there were a lot of them that could have probably gotten top 20, top 15 finishes. It's probably why there were so many of them elevated who probably shouldn't have run top 20, top 25 in this race, all things considered.
Well, speaking of getting better finishes than they expected, we can talk about some better than expected TV ratings this week.
Yeah, go for it, man.
This race got a 1.48 rating and 3.011 million viewers. And I think when we saw that number, we all kind of just like was a little surprised by, what's a Vegas race doing, hitting, pretty good like that. Peaked at 380 million viewers at the finish. And it was actually the best NASCAR cable race since Darlington 2021. And, for this being an FS1 race, that's just so impressive. It doesn't have really any good direct comparison since Vegas was a different week last year and it was also on Fox. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty satisfied with that number for a Vegas race on FS1.
The
That's-
best.
I
The
think
be-
I saw like a tweet from somebody that this race had like 6 or 7% higher ratings than last week, because last week was
Yeah.
the most watched FS1 race since 21. So this one beat that. But I honestly, I was not expecting that. I'm shocked that it's still over 3 million. I thought at this point in time it would have gone below it. I'm very curious to see what it's going to be like now with March Madness now beginning. How will that affect
True.
it? Because so far there hasn't been any direct competition with NASCAR. They've just been a league of their own. Now you got some big major sports events coming up. How will that affect it? But regardless, it's a great start. I think a lot of us were very worried about with this new TV package being so cable heavy. That's like, oh man, this is not gonna look good when we check on Monday and Tuesday, see the ratings. But so far, they're holding their ground.
Yeah, I mean, they should be higher than most recent cable ratings because they're early in the season. They're off the heels of the Daytona 500. To me, there's no direct comparison, but like what you just said, Jet, is the most important thing is that more people tuned in this week than last week. And both races were on FS1, roughly the same time slot, similar region, both big markets. I think Las Vegas, for some reason, high-speed ovals often outrate short ovals.
Mhm.
That's Martinsville, Bristol, Phoenix, Richmond, always less than Texas, Vegas. I don't know about Kansas. I'd have to check the numbers there. Homestead, I'd have to check the numbers there. But I know Las Vegas is a big market, so it typically gets a solid TV rating. So that's the more exciting thing to me is that Vegas beat Phoenix from a week ago. Usually the beginning of the year ratings just go like this after Daytona. So to have a little, okay, that's something. Maybe people watched the exciting finish at Phoenix and said, all right, let's give Vegas a shot.
Big ovals draw higher ratings than small ovals. IndyCar, take note.
Well, and IndyCar is something I want to kind of point on when it comes to this next week with Homestead is Fox had the galaxy brain decision to put IndyCar and NASCAR same time head to head. I think NASCAR is going to win just because it's thermal. IndyCar is a less popular motorsport at this point. We saw like if St. Pete can't get 1.5 mil, thermal isn't going to, but it's like you're splitting the motorsport base, which nowadays is more open to more motorsports than ever before, I would say, in America. You're splitting that base, having to choose down the middle. And I think we're going to see that kind of play out. I would be surprised if we hit the 3 million mark this week. I'm going to be really interested, though, if Homestead, which is generally more popular with it, if they stay, though, at least ahead of, say, the Phoenix race. That is on a shorter oval. So that's going to be interesting to watch this week.
Now, keeping in mind FS1 and how good it did for a Sunday race, let's talk about the other two series here real quick. The Xfinity Series over on CW got 1.081 million viewers, which is actually up 5% from last year, which was, I guess it was on FS1 last year. So that's good to see CW pulling in a little bit more than what FS1 was pulling in. Now, what is horrendous, I don't feel bad now for this because it looks like I wasn't the only one. The Truck Series, I forgot about the truck race on Friday night. I forgot to watch it. I forgot it was on. It was late.
Oh, it rained. It rained a ton.
The rain delays were
okay.
dreadful.
I wasn't even aware of that because we were just doing other things on Friday, and I woke up the next day and realized I didn't even watch a truck race. I don't think I was alone because it only had 324,000 viewers, down 46% from a year ago.
No,
that's a crazy crash. Yeah, the rain's gonna.
But last year's race started an hour later than this year's race. It started like 10 p.m. Eastern or something crazy like that, and they moved it back an hour. And you could tell Fox didn't care, one, because it's a truck race, but two, like their highlights, the initial highlight video they put out was all before the rain delay, which was was like 40 laps. And all the highlights were from those 40 laps. And I'm like, oh, yes, 2032. You can't come soon enough.
And I hate to say it, I feel like this may be a trend we keep seeing week after week of the Truck Series being down because, I mean,
it's down year major.
Yeah, majorly. There's a few factors here, but I think one, it's with just trying to say this in the best way possible. With a lackluster commentary crew, it's hard to get too excited to want to watch that series right now. I think would be a fair thing to say.
Who they have? Who was on the call this last weekend? Besides Jamie Little, it was
I think it was Keselowski and Logano, I want to say.
Yes.
Was it the two of them again?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Well,
Was
hey,
Harvick up there? No, I don't even
No.
know. I turned it. I muted
Kyle
it.
Busch
on
did
NRM.
Xfinity. I was trying to think. I was like, Kyle Busch did it, right? And I'm like, no, he was the Xfinity broadcast filling in for Kligerman. So never mind. But yeah,
Peter says Brad and Joey was doing it.
yeah,
I muted it.
and Brad had like a cold. It sounded like it. The parts that I didn't hear the whole broadcast. I had it muted a few times as I was also doing other things. But yeah, it's
Dad in the chat just said Brad K and laughter, and you immediately know who laughter is supposed to be.
It was rough, and so far this year, I think trucks is down something like 20 to 30%. Like just it's remember Speed Weeks. It was the only race that didn't have a major increase from the year before or the last comparable year, which is telling.
Danny, you say you want to put it in a nice way. I'm not. They are awful. They suck. And look, I like Jamie Little. She's a great pit reporter, fantastic one, but she's just not meant for the booth. Some people just aren't meant for the booth.
I think that's the reason. I'm just trying not to say it a bad way because I mean I can't say I'm personally a fan of her commentary style. I'm a fan of her as a person, as a pit reporter, but I can't say I'm a fan of her as the lead commentator.
I feel you, but none of that BS. We ain't sugarcoating. It's been way too long. I mean, I haven't. The only race of so far the truck series that I really watched was Daytona. I just, I wonder, why did Fox, and this is a bigger picture, but why did Fox continue airing trucks? Because I don't hear any promotion from them. They don't do anything to promote it. They don't do anything to at least, put any effort, it seems as though, into their truck coverage. I mean, it's just awful. There's no other way to say it.
They feel like COVID races because it's there's nobody in the crowd. There's the broadcast booth feels like it's remote half the time. I don't know if they have done any remote broadcasts yet this season, but I know they have in the past.
I don't think they have, mainly because Jamie's usually there unless it's a weird weekend where they've got her over in IndyCar stuff. Yeah. But
it's just not good. But I could honestly, we could pick apart the Cup booth too. I every week that goes by, I like Harvick and Boyer less and less. I like, and I know people it's popular to dunk on Boyer. I think Kevin Harvick is a great podcaster. I don't think he has any TV presence. I think he has the charisma of a bag. It's just not
part of its direction.
I think.
I think the direction part comes into play when they're trying to force banter between Boyer and Harvick that they're clearly uncomfortable with. But no, and whatever the word of the week is it just crashes the broadcast to a screeching halt for 10 seconds whenever Harvick says something goofy out of nowhere. But no, he's incredibly intelligent. Harvick is great analyst, terrible performer. And go back and watch at prime DW and Larry Mack run circles around Harvick and Boyer, even on their best days.
I feel like with Harvick, I think he just need get Boyer out of there. Like, you want to put him in the pre-race, fine. But I feel like with Harvick, Mike Joy, what was that?
Sorry, Boyer would be a fantastic, replacement for, what Michael Waltrip does if Michael
we don't need that.
We
don't need it.
I mean,
no, we don't. But
I mean, to be honest, I don't need to hear about Michael Waltrip's grid walk is turning into more like a therapy session. Like, I swear, every week he just keeps throwing hints that make you go, "Do you need to talk to someone?"
If Michael Waltrip
that Novocaine bit that he did at Coda.
They gave him a podcast. They did at one point. I remember.
You didn't hear about it. That's right.
It's just, and I know. So this week we can kind of, because the rating side, we can pivot a little bit to the stuff with Artie Kepner. He's going to Monday Night Football. Good for him. I think there's 3 things that could happen here, and I think NASCAR fans have jumped on one. First thing. Fox takes a major increase. It was the direction that was the problem the whole time. You get somebody young, hungry up there, and we see improvement like we've seen with NBC and NCW, and hopefully we'll see with the other 2. The other one is there's no change. It's a deeper issue than director, which I think is personally something that's true.
Oh, yeah.
And we're stuck in the same situation. People get disappointed, think it's worse, nothing has changed. Or C, it's going to get worse because you're going to have inexperienced people jump up there. You're going to have people that shouldn't be there or are kind of dumped there by Fox Sports. And to me, personally, I think the second option that I think it's going to stay the same. I think the issues with Fox Sports are more ingrained than Artie Kempner. He might go over and make it really good at Monday Night Football and the Super Bowl and all of that. He has tons of experience. I saw like a screen cap of like closed captioning of a race in the 80s. And he was one of the people who was the directors on that. So it's like, it's clear the guy has known his way around motorsports and might have lost his way. But I just, you see the football broadcast, it's starting to get worse. You're seeing the stuff they do on the pregame shows, it gets worse. Baseball coverage, at least the ones I've been able to watch have not been as good as the ones that I remember from even 5 or 6 years ago. I think it's a Fox issue more than Artie Kempner, and I think people are going to be woefully disappointed when it stays the same.
The only thing that I watch on Fox as far as sports-wise, I truly enjoy the way it's broadcasted. Maybe the stuff I see with Bassmaster, but from what I know about them, that's more of the Bassmaster people themselves control out of production and not Fox. Fox is just has it.
And it's CW.
Artie Kempner, he controls the camera direction, the cuts, things like that. So I would hope that will. I have no hope for this year. I don't even know if Artie's gone this year. Is he gone like effective immediately?
Goes at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's at the end of the
year.
year.
We're gonna ride out the Cup Series slate, and then
that's what I would assume. But yeah, so I don't expect, even if he's gone right now, I don't expect much to change for the next.
Because I would expect he probably doesn't do much at all for the Truck Series stuff. I had to guess.
And the Trucks has so many of the similar issues too, direction wise.
But to Jared's point, like the cartoon graphics, that's not an Artie Kempner call. That's a Fox across the board call. Budget issues. If they have less, I don't know if this is true, but if they have fewer cameras, that's a Fox issue. So there's certainly, to your point, Jared, a lot of things that likely are not going to change. But I hope that, what have we said constantly about broadcasters over the last few years? We want them to evolve. And NBC has pushed the envelope. Fox, to their credit this year, did, the side-by-side commercials for the first couple races. Okay, they've evolved in some respects, but with the actual broadcast itself, with the direction itself, there's been little to no evolution from Fox over the past 20 years, and that's on Artie Kempner in many ways. So hopefully getting someone new in there who's mildly experienced, to say the least, can bring some fresh direction and see at least gradual improvements next year. But you can't, Artie's not in control of budget. He's not in control of all the graphics. I mean, shoot, you watch an NFL game, you're going to see a horrifying cartoon Joe Burrow on your screen, most likely. Like that's not an Artie call. There are just some things Fox directs from above.
I'm going to say this. If ESPN broadcasts for football get better, I think, one, we probably owe Artie a bit of an apology just because it's like there's some things that can be carried over. But two, then we're in serious trouble with the Fox side of it because he was holding back the floodgates maybe. Like that's the fear I have is like he still has it. Fox wants it certain ways. And now with somebody there who can mitigate it, and you put just some, kid that is doing it for the first time and has to just follow everything the boss says, like that is the big worry with it for 26, 7, 8.
I'm just very curious as to how Prime and TNT, because they're brand new, they're gonna TNT kind of brand new, but they're entering NASCAR, a new era of NASCAR that they haven't been either in a while or in forever. If they are able to pull off a better broadcast when they are new compared to Fox that has had 25 years of experience, I mean, I don't know what the contract states, but if I'm NASCAR, there's a way that they can then take over their productions. I don't know how it works with contracts, but I would be, I just can't see them accepting this, because the thing is with broadcasting is like with storytelling, like a story may be good, but if you tell it in a way that's not going to intrigue fans, well, then it's like, well, what's the point? You look at F1 races where they can make a horrible race and yet it still looks entertaining. You're still interested in seeing what's going on. With Fox, even a great race can be at times unbearable. So I can only imagine. I think we've been blessed so far to have good to great races so far this year. I can only imagine when we go to a bad race now in this state, not 2003 Fox, which could have saved us. If we go to a bad race now in 2025 Fox, it's going to be like, oh man, just mute and just focus on in-car camera max. Because that's what I did for most at Atlanta, just because I was sick and tired of Fox and how they produced it. It's just, I'm just worried about what's going to be like in the years to come. Because like what you said, Jarrett, I do believe that it could be the latter option and that it just is going to get worse because now you're bringing new people that aren't as familiar with it compared to Artie was. It's just, I'm just glad that Fox got less races this year. That's the only saving grace.
Well, on that note, I'm going to re-rail us. We kind of derailed a little bit there because that was just supposed to be talking about TV ratings, and we joined in and we just dunked on Fox for a little while. We need to talk about the poll real quick, the famous iceberg poll.
Quick poll.
12,000 people voted on this week's poll. 46% of people said this was a great race. 43% of people said it was a good race, giving this race an 89% net positivity. 9% said it was an average race, and 2% of Josh Berry haters said this was a negative race.
Yeah, and that is the most positively voted poll for Las Vegas in the poll's history out of 12 races polled.
Wow.
This beat out the spring races of 22 and 21 that were 86 and 85% all time.
So it was a Bowman win and probably a Larson win in 21?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty positively voted. And as for the year so far, it was, I believe, the most positively voted race of the year, just over COTA by 1%.
Okay.
So there is that.
Okay.
Now, the first comment was from Tank Slapper, and I already know this is going to start something up from what I've heard others say, who says Harrison Burton was really just that bad. Damn. Yeah, I'll say this. Harrison Burton's been holding his own, though, in Xfinity so far this year. And
He ain't going back to Cup.
No, you know who's really having a bad week if we're doing the math? Haley Deegan. Because Harrison, look what Josh Berry's like. So Harrison Burton had the 21 looking last in Cup. Josh Berry gets win. Meanwhile, Haley Deegan had the 15 looking last in Xfinity, and Harrison Burton's got them 12th in points.
Isn't Haley probably running almost close to last and Indy next, whatever she's doing?
I wish her the best. I hope she figures it out. It'd be awesome. But I was just making a joke because if you do the math, it just keeps getting worse. So I'm trying to think if there's somebody worse than Deegan. What would be below? Who's going to be feeling? Who are her teammates in ARCA? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I don't remember that far back, honestly.
Derek Krause got it. Yeah, she beat Derek Krause a few times in K9. He's having a really rough week.
What's he doing nowadays?
What is he racing still? I don't know.
Every now and then,
he pops up in college stuff from time to time.
Oh yeah, he does show up in college. Yeah, I forgot about that.
All right, we got our comments, and then we'll go to the gutter, and then we'll talk to another guest here in a moment. But Charles Peterson Jr. says, "Well, I'll be damned. Great job, Josh Berry and the Wood brothers." A Napa Racing fan says that was the hardest Dale Jr. ever cheered for a Ford. And I'm pretty sure his dad drove a Ford at one point when after
the 15 car, right?
Yeah, I would think so. It's nothing. Says I had a gut feeling Josh Berry was being held back by SHR. This proves it.
I think all four of their drivers were being held back a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Irvin Boy says, I can't believe we got a Josh Berry win at a non-restrictor plate track before GTA 6. I didn't see that coming. Irene says, Blaney was so unfortunate today. He had one of the fastest cars. Yeah. He'll be radio sweetheart. Let's see. Chuckle says IMSA amazing race. F1 best race from them I've seen in a while, and NASCAR tops both of them with tires and penalties and a surprise winner on a regular track.
That's what's so funny is we expected maybe Daytona, Atlanta, or COTA you'd get a shock win, or Bowman Gray even. Nope. Gibbs, Hendrick, Penske, or no, just Gibbs and Hendrick, and then it's Josh Berry at Las Vegas of all people getting the surprise win.
Yep.
Josh Bob here says, "What dimension portal did I step into that has Berry, Suarez, and Priest as the top three?" And that leads us to the gutter here. Let's see. Water Ross Melanstein
Oh, I like
says
that.
should have been win
Oh, man.
100. That was in the gutter.
Oh,
Pepsi
dang.
Racing simply said Josh Berry wins. I will admit I got these gutter comments yesterday, so they could have changed since. But then Josh Drum Holler, I can't even read my own spelling at this point, says, wow, we waste over 3 hours of our lives for a stupid Cinderella ending. NASCAR is a joke, and the ones who like the sappy and ridiculous and atrocious waste of races ending are just as bad. So
What do you want, Kyle Larson to win by a lap on the field? What'll make you happy?
That was the lowest voted comment.
Good.
I think we need a drug test some of these comments.
I know. We're not supposed to like attack our viewers, and we don't know if this person even views the show. We just know they voted on your poll. But sir or ma'am,
we do know that
what are you on?
The YouTube algorithm will just send out Jarrett's poll to people who have never once heard of us in our life, because I think you got a comment one time where he's like, I haven't watched NASCAR in years. Why is this on my
that's right. Wasn't that in the gutter one week?
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know, but thanks.
Thanks for the comment.
That'll do it for the poll, the cup side of things. And Danny, should we bring in our other guest tonight?
Yeah, so there was some news this week involving Denny Hamlin. Yesterday on his Instagram story, Denny Hamlin had kind of an incident, a lawnmower caught on fire or something like that. It would be great. It'd be great if Denny had like an insurance person he could call up or something like that. I don't know. There's someone from Joe Gibbs Racing just popped up in here. He might know somebody who can help with that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're ready to flow into the weekend. I'm just glad I don't work at Fox.
So these puns, what are these?
That was smooth, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. Yeah,
Nicholas, it's good to have you back on with us here for just a little bit. You had a huge announcement this week. What has led up to finally being able to get this announcement out there that Denny Hamlin has kind of found his anchor sponsor for the season?
So yeah, first off, it's tons of hard work from all the men and women at JGR. It's been, months in the process. I'd say we probably started talking to Progressive in September. So it was a long runway for sure, but we had all aspects of our team with that. It was graphic design, PR, sales, marketing, anybody you can think of was a part of this deal. And, it was more so a part of like the HBSE network. As you know, Progressive is the entitlement sponsor for the Cleveland Guardians field. So that's kind of how that intro was set up. But, we're super excited. We had that huge blank spot on the hauler, and, it's kind of a teaser. So like I said, the last time we were on, just because it's not announced doesn't mean we didn't have something cooking.
I have a quick question jumping in because you mentioned the Cleveland Guardians. I know Progressive is based in Ohio. Did Denny Hamlin's Ohio State bandwagon run have anything to do or help at all with you guys signing and sealing this deal?
It did not come up, but I did bring that up a couple of times. I thought that'd be a good just conversation starter, but no, it didn't come up officially.
So as far as the paint scheme goes, I kind of like it. It's simple. I think it works. The big P is interesting. A few people in the chat was kind of disappointed though. We didn't see any characters like Flo or someone like that make an appearance on the car. Is there any reason why we didn't see that this year?
First off, well, shout out to our graphic designer, Justin Harris. He did a great job on that car. I think something that was super important to Progressive early in the program, doesn't mean to say the paint scheme won't change at some point during the year, but it was really just taking the market and really being, proud. And you can see like the Progressive on the side of the car is really big. As you know, the P on the hood's really big. And just making sure that can track on like our social metrics and how, success is measured from a broadcast perspective. So you can see the Sport Clips Associate also moved from above the wheel well to right below the door, and it's 50% bigger too. So we're trying something a little different here. I think characters could certainly be in the future. But right now, Flo's just gonna have to sit on the rear bumper for now.
Are we gonna get Flo at a race? That's my only other question.
I hope so.
I have to know.
That's what we're pushing for. We haven't gotten an answer yet, but we're hoping.
Okay, let's make that happen. That'd be awesome.
Like if Progressive just wants a also just sponsor a race or something like that. Get Flow to say, "Gentlemen, start your engines." Let's just make it all. Let's just go all out with it.
We'll settle for Jamie or whatever the other guy's name is. We'll even settle. We can make a deal.
I didn't even know who Jamie was until like 2 weeks ago. So.
Something that I hope somehow that I don't know how you actually tweak this and run this. I love the Progressive. I think is it Progressive doing the commercials where there's like a backup quarterback involved, or am I mistaken?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see somehow Denny
football.
Hamlin do a commercial like that, but I don't know what you do exactly.
Oh, when Eric Almirola was his backup driver all those years ago.
He got the win.
Wait, Eric's at JGR again. Maybe y'all can make something happen. I don't know.
Hey, we'll work.
That'd be a very
I will
niche
say,
joke.
catching his yard on fire was not planned. That was pure coincidence. That was not planned.
You know, I was just thinking that I thought that was like a teaser, like, oh, you need insurance to cover that. I thought that was part of it for a second.
He's committing insurance fraud.
I still don't have the whole story on that, but I know it wasn't planned. That's for sure.
That's funny.
I actually jokingly, of course, I texted the screenshot to Nicholas, and I said, not even one day with Progressive, and this happens to Denny. Like what's going on here, dude?
Yeah.
When that first started happening, we were actually that video that went out last night. We were filming it when all that went down, so it wasn't planned, but it certainly made for some funny memes.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, Nicholas, just again, basic overview. I think they announced it's 18 races, right? So roughly half the schedule.
It is 18 races. Yep.
Yeah, that's huge. Can you tell fans at all about any maybe like other at-track activation or other things that you guys are working on, or is all that still kind of in the pipeline?
Yeah, I would say it's in the pipeline right now. This is really like media focused. So that's been the forefront of all the discussions we've had. Now, I'm not going to say that we're not going to try to integrate Flo or Jamie into anything we do in the future, but, Progressive's really active. The people that can watch the Xfinity races, I know that there's a lot of discussion about that. They have a lot of stuff on the Xfinity broadcast, and they're going to have some stuff on the broadcast later this year. So we're exploring everything. I know I'm internally pushing to have Flo around at the races. So hopefully we can get that commercial everybody wants.
And I pointed out to you, I think Progressive is just picking up their advertising in a big way. When I kind of like started to hear some rumors about this, I think I informed you, hey, they actually just picked up the Bassmaster Elite Series. So Progressive really stepping up and going out in a big way to get their name out there. So it's good to have them back into NASCAR, in a big major way here with Denny Hamlin. So we're looking forward to seeing what's next. And just to clear something up here on the 11 here, so there's been some speculation online and our chat even tonight. Is there any races that still needs something, or are we pretty much all covered with Denny now?
I would say we're 99% full on Denny. Actually, I would say across all four of our cars, we're about 98% full. Only a couple left. So we're focused on 2026 from here on out.
Haulers
well
will
done.
be full. Haulers will be full on the side. No more hauler talk on that side.
We have something cool for Ty coming up soon, so I hope everyone enjoys it.
Looking forward to hearing about that. Maybe when the news comes out, whatever you got cooking for Ty, maybe we can have you back on to talk about that. But we appreciate you stopping by. As always, Nicholas, we know it's late out there in Charlotte, so let you go get some dinner, and we appreciate you taking time to be with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Nicholas.
All right. See you later, Nicholas.
Super patient of him too. It took us an hour into the show to finally get done talking about Las Vegas.
I texted him midway, and I was like, "I'm sorry, we're holding you here." And he said, "No, this is actually good. It's a good conversation." He was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Awesome, we do have the two the Xfinity and truck race, which kind of talked about. I'll be honest, the Xfinity race. I'm just gonna say it. I was so close. I was so close this weekend to a weekend sweep. Mm-hmm. I was so close. Mm-hmm. Caution doesn't come out. Strategy-wise, Larson could have got there. But I got the winner of the truck race, which was kind of easy. But then I got the winner of the Xfinity race, which was not as easy. Yeah, hey, I'll own that layup. Justin Allgaier, man. I mean, beating Eric Almirola head-to-head.
Yeah, Eric Almirola, I never really felt like he had the best car. He was my pick, so I was watching him really closely. Obviously, he had a top 5 car and was in contention. But no. I mean, credit to Justin Allgaier. I mean, really strong start to the season.
Well, and RCR is pretty strong too, 3rd and 4th.
Oh, yeah.
Still had the issues, and he still was able to make it work.
Absolutely, yeah. Hill and Love now have, I guess, just the one win each at the super speedways, but like that's what's so encouraging. I think Austin Hill, didn't he win Homestead last year, or he was at?
Yes.
So they're going to a good track for them, and so that's the thing with that. When I look at RCR, it's just how good are you outside the super speedways, and I mean Las Vegas is a pretty good litmus test for all three series. I mean it bodes well, absolutely.
No, real quick, I want to like bring this part up. I got like a little birdie on this one on the CW, a few updates on what's going on there. So this past weekend, Detroit, the local Detroit area got the CW app. They'd get the race on the app. And the reasoning, at least that I heard, that they hadn't done this nationwide is basically the app wasn't ready. Like they were overwhelmed. It was not ready for a national launch. It sounds like it should be ready around midsummer, give or take, that it should be something that is long-term going to be in the plans. If your CW is covering, reruns of the Big Bang Theory instead of the Xfinity race, you can still get the race once that happens. I don't know why it's different with practice and qualifying. It's probably that less people would be on watching it.
It's probably a stress thing. Yeah.
But that is there, and they're working with their affiliates on making sure it's not as much of an issue. So I appreciate, even though it should have probably been addressed beforehand, I appreciate that they're actually addressing it and being public and forthcoming with it. That's better than some of the others.
Yeah, we
exactly
definitely need to get this figured out before we get into situations where it's like, by the time football season comes around, if we have a race on a Friday night, well, a lot of CW affiliates will show high school football on a Friday night. They're showing ACC football on Saturdays now. So we definitely got to get that figured out and straightened up to give a place you can still watch it on the app. We got to get that figured out. Just no excuse for it now at this point.
100% before the fall. But yeah, I like where things are trending, which is real nice.
At least they're working on it. At least that's something I can accept with that. They're trying to to work on it. They know the concerns, they hear it, and they're trying to improve. So, I do feel bad. It is kind of ridiculous that when this was announced, I mean, I don't know when this was first announced that they would host the Xfinity Series, like back in.
It was over a year ago.
Yeah. Cause I'm not sure how it was when they did the last 8 races last year. Cause
they weren't streaming those. I don't think they had those on the app.
No.
Was there any issues though? Cause I don't remember hearing anything about.
No, there was issues because people were saying I can't find it. I don't have this channel.
Well, and the thing was with the app, at least too, it wasn't there because it was initially an NBC broadcast, so it wasn't part of the deal to begin with.
Yeah,
and it was an NBC crew that was doing it all.
They probably shouldn't have took it that early, honestly.
It was probably just a trial run more than anything, just to make sure that that they could work out some of the worst ironed out things, and
also to get the audience used to coming to because everyone's tuning in for the playoffs, and it's it's the playoffs. I mean, I know they're not a huge ratings grab for NASCAR, but still, it's okay, this is important. I'm gonna actively seek out Xfinity. Oh, it's at the CW. I'll know that for next year. I think that was probably part of their plan. Off topic slightly, but I will say Kyle Busch was very good in the booth. He, like Harvick, is fresh out the seat, great analyst, has plenty of insight to add, and is not afraid to ruffle feathers and offer a strong opinion. But unlike Harvick so far, I feel Kyle Busch also has charisma is such a broad word, but he's got that TV, that showmanship. I mean, the dude takes a bow after every race win. He understands how to perform in a theatrical sense, and you need a little bit of that for TV. That's why DW was so special for 20 years, because he had both. And I felt like Kyle Busch, when he gets out of the seat permanently, he may also have both and could have a great TV future ahead of him if he pursues that route.
Kyle Busch is the kind of person that I've noticed is only a small handful of times, and what little interactions I've had more close to him. If you get him comfortable, he will just be a good person. And I think that's, you get him in situations like this, he can loosen up. And if you get Kyle Busch in that mode, kind of like his brother in a way, if you get Kurt loosened up, they can both be good guys, honestly.
Yeah. That wasn't the only race though. We still. It was the great race.
Because remember, no one remembered the truck race happened.
The truck race though had some. When the rain finally went away, some of those restarts were wild. What was the restart?
4 and 5 wide.
There's a restart, and there were Stuart Friesen was going like he hit a mushroom in Mario Kart. It was like that was like they zoomed out just in time to show him flying into the picture out of like it was. I literally said this. I think I was with my wife. I said she's not listening. She's not gonna. But I was like, they might take that car back to the R&D center just for that. Like, how is he going so fast entering turn 3? It was crazy.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not see anything.
Well, we Eric and I watched it, and it was pretty wild once they finally got it back going. It was
Eric
like
and Jarrett watching truck race, so you can forget too.
Well, it was like yeah. It was like a 10% chance of rain we talked about. At one point it went down to 2, and then it was like 20% all day. And we got a friggin' downpour, and then another, and then another. And when I went live for my post-race show, it was past midnight on the East Coast. And I was just like, all right, let's talk about this thing. Here's what happened. This was cool. Then these restarts happened. And then the rest, is Corey Heim got the win. Yeah,
I don't even remember
what we expected.
I don't even remember the very end of the race. I don't even remember how he got the lead. I remember Lane Riggs had a crazy save and almost died, but saved it and finished like 5th or wherever.
That's up there with save of the year.
At some point, we're gonna see Lane Riggs like come to life, like he was there for a little bit.
I think he will. I'm gonna do a shameless plug because we have 400 people watching tomorrow. I have an interview with Lane Riggs coming out on the show around lunchtime. So if you want to hear more about Lane, he tells a great story about in 2023, I think it was at Martinsville, he said, before an Xfinity race, Jerry Freeze of Front Row came over to him and said, "Hey, do you want to drive my truck next year?" Lane Riggs said, "Yeah." And Jerry told him, "All right, well, let's see how you do today." And then they went and ran the race. So I thought that was hilarious. Like, what kind of crazy pressure to put on a 20-year-old right before a race at, I think it was Martinsville. So anyway, wanted to mention that since we're talking about Lane Riggs. He'll be on my channel tomorrow.
Well, Day was on the pole and he ran up front for a little bit and then just sort of fell back. And I've already seen the discourse from the ARCA start that didn't exactly go great at Phoenix. And then this one where he was up front for a bit, but then really wasn't competitive in any way. I'm telling you, this is what happens when you hype these people up. When you keep saying they're the next Kyle Larson, they're the next Jeff Gordon, they're the next, you name it, is if they don't perform right away, everyone's jumping on them like hyenas.
Hyenas. Yeah. I'm not. Well, and don't want to make any definitive statements too early, but a lot of these guys are just so young and come from very different disciplines. This is their first foray into big time major league stock car racing. You got to give them some grace. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I want to give them time. You can't judge off of ARCA races and truck races in a small sample size. It's more, again, it's kind of what we talked about last year with the Haley Deegan conversation, kind of bringing, digging that zombie of a conversation back up. Is like we had said, like if she can perform better, like if you start out with like a 25th place finish, and then in the middle of the year you're starting to run like 15th, and then top 10 at the end of the year, kind of like Lane Riggs did last year. Okay, there's progression. Like if we see progression and he's running up front more, okay, like that's what we expect. If he's still like, falling back every time you see him on camera, he's just getting passed by everybody. At the end of the year, a year from now, a year and a half from now, it's like, okay, that then start to hit the panic button a little bit. Like, hey, why is there not that progression? But I don't want to jump on him just yet because I don't think it's fair this early. I think we've all made that mistake before with young drivers, and I think they at least deserve the grace to race it out for a little bit.
AEB King said the next Cody Ware.
I chuckled at that. That was funny.
I want to mention though, Heim now is the only truck regular to have won a race this year. He's won 2 of the first 3 technically. So it's Heim time. All right. How many races do trucks have? 23?
25.
Oh, 25. That's right. Went up. A couple of years ago, I guess. I'm gonna put the over under. Let's have some fun for a moment. Over under. Corey Heim wins this season 9.5.
So I'll put under, but I predicted 8 or more at the start of the year.
All right, let me do 7.5.
Over. I predicted 8. He's won 2 of 3.
Okay, you're right. 9.5 is a little high, but but he's already 2 for 3. The only guy who could beat him is Kyle Busch.
Over 9.5 means he wins 10 races. I just don't see that.
I could see
If anyone
it.
could, he could.
Honestly,
Yeah. He's probably not going to win 10.
Hold
That's
on.
a lot.
okay,
I'll
I'll say this.
gonna-
I feel
Probably
like
not
he
going to
will
win.
win.
This weekend.
I feel like he will win 9. I think he can win 9.
I'm gonna put this list back on the bottom again, and you look here and like who can consistently beat him every week at any point.
I mean, I was looking
Chandler,
at
maybe.
the entry list, and it is very hard to think of more than 2 people that you think will win a truck race now.
This is why no one's watching trucks. Who? Okay,
It's
like
Heim,
Rig.
Majeski, Enfinger, and maybe Chandler Smith if he
Maybe
gets
Ben
spot.
Rhodes here and there.
Or
Enfinger
Riggs every
deserves
now and then.
Enfinger. If you, I mean, that truck he's in, it must be good, obviously. But if you put Enfinger back in like top tier equipment, like I think Grant Enfinger is really freaking good. I think he's woefully underrated
You
still.
put Grant
He
Enfinger
is.
in a 4-sport truck, I think he would win a lot more.
Yeah, I mean he's bet. Yeah, I mean
look at these names that are on the bottom. Like some of the names in there already are
Connor
young guys.
Bozak. Oh,
Yeah, guys that aren't winning
Ranger.
all that much. I mean, it's like as much as we all like him, friend of the show, Raja Karuth, it's like he hasn't won in over a year.
yeah.
He hasn't really had the winning speed either. He has the talent. We know he does.
Yeah,
But it's like he's not going to consistently beat him. Who's
No.
going to beat him? Tanner Gray, Jake Garcia. Like these are the guys who are going to be in the playoffs this year. I think Caden Honeycutt might jump up once.
Tony
like-
Breininger. I mean,
Oh, come on. The Raising Cane's mobile
yeah.
runs on cane sauce and a dream.
Like, well, and think of this too. The other part of it is his main competition, Christian Eckes, is replaced by this guy, Daniel Hemrick, who has not been as fast by any means.
Well, and
this past week.
that whole team got overhauled. So like the
Mhm.
19 truck in general is not as good as it was a year ago. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, shoot, there's not a lot of the competition. Frankie Muniz is top 20 in points.
Whoa. He's right in the middle of everything.
I mean, think about this too. One of the races that Corey Heim wouldn't, be the one that be favored to get a win in, he got a win in because of a DQ. Like he's got luck on his side too. He's gonna be lucky until Phoenix, just like he always is.
I'm taking the over.
I'm 7.5. I'm taking 7.5. I'll take the over.
I might even take over 9.5.
I think he can win 9 races. I mean, like you said, the competition, Enfinger, okay, Majeski, maybe. Like, there's just too little of contenders that I feel like that can, be straight up with Corey Heim. So I'll
This
go with
is a
9.
better question. Of truck regulars, what's the over/under on number of regulars who we think will win?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Majeski will get one. And the thing
7.
that sucks is because the equipment isn't there, Enfinger has to run basically a perfect race to win.
Exactly. And he almost did. I think he was second this weekend, right? Like I think he finished second.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Wasn't he
that's
second the week before too?
He's,
Am I mistaken?
That was
he is
Friesen, I think.
Oh, okay.
Friesen was second to Busch. Enfinger might have been in the mix.
So-
I don't remember.
Let's see. I'll go Majeski, Enfinger,
Rhodes, maybe.
maybe, but Thorsport definitely is not a top, like as high up to the top Majeski is. But maybe Chandler Smith. I'll go Lane Riggs for sure. I think Lane Riggs.
I think both Chandler and Lane will win this year.
I'll tell you this. I'm high on this guy. I think he's going to pop off at least once. I think Caden Honeycutt gets a win this year.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that. I think he'll nab a win.
But
yeah, we got to be able to see Nice
Better.
get back into winning form, and he could be the guy to do that.
better question. Of the truck regulars outside of Heim, how many of them get multiple wins this year? Majeski and Enfinger?
Probably,
Maybe
yeah.
one of the others pops off here or
I
there.
don't even know
I
about
could see
Enfinger.
Chandler Smith getting a couple, honestly.
Yeah, I think Chandler wins a couple. Lane might. Lane won 2 last year.
Yeah, I'd say Riggs probably.
Ben
Maybe.
Rhodes, I never know what to expect of him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like you have the Matt Craftons anymore, those veterans that are going to compete every week.
Well, he is
ones.
there, but you're right. He's not
there,
particularly
but-
competitive.
He finished 9th this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, well, you have to add in the other part of it too, is how many of these races are going to have, like this week, Kyle Larson is in it, or
Yeah.
you know, like
Chastain
Kyle
is
Busch,
racing this week.
Chastain,
and
yeah. Like there's so many of those ones that could be won by him. Like Stuart Friesen could have won Atlanta, but Kyle Busch was there, and Kyle
But he
Busch is
didn't.
just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't think we were gonna have more to talk about from the truck race than we were
Well,
the
this is like-
Xfinity race, and half the panel didn't watch.
This is kind of crazy though. We're what 2-3 races into the season. We're already acting as if Corey Heim is gonna win it all. It's
No,
like,
no,
You know
he'll
what?
win everything. through
over under
Martinsville.
12.5. Let's just keep going up.
you know what? Screw it. Let's go over.
17 wins. 17
Side note.
wins.
Side note.
He's
Before
gonna
we
win.
get off
He's gonna
this
win
thing-
all but the final race.
Before we
And
get
they
off, this
still
and
won't put him in
go-
Xfinity.
Before we get off this and go to the super chat stage, right? Because we do need to get to that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just got to give a shout out to the absolute funniest typoing I've ever seen for a driver's name. I know he's referring to Ty Majeski, but the Braden Bunch 58 said Tyler's jet ski will win a race. Tyler's jet ski.
I'll say, and I'm gonna say this real quick before we go off it. Cito Brown, clip like the last 2 minutes, because I know you clip a lot of stuff on the show. And if he does end up getting like 10 to 12 wins, like post it and be like that, you guys joked about it. Reality happened.
It's time, boys.
You know what time it is.
It may very well be time for all we know right now. But what
It's
it is
time for some super chats.
Time for some super chats, indeed.
All right. I got you on the time.
These segues are very good that y'all do.
No, we're off. This is actually off. I just walked all
this-
over Danny's line. We're not
Yeah,
really.
we're doing pretty bad
Yeah.
with it actually tonight.
Oh,
We're having fun.
It's fun. We're having fun. All right. Kicking us off, Ross Crashstein, appreciate the $5 from you. Why is everyone asking Goodyear for more tire fall off? Clearly, the teams are already good enough at that.
That's a good one. I like that.
Good.
Clever.
Spencer Purcell, appreciate you being a member for DannyB Super Fans for 45 months. Las Vegas was fun in person. I had fun. He's having fun.
He's having fun.
Having fun.
Glad you had fun, Spencer. Vogues, there's
Oh,
that
God.
$20, paying $20 to tell you again that Jet owes him $10.
Don't forget it.
He told me to go F myself and for a video, so I'm not giving you a damn thing. Take
Wow.
that $10.
Justin Drake, appreciate the $19.99 from you. You've been very generous. He started off early with a 20. Appreciate that. The Denny Hamlin progressive car had potential of Flo and Jamie, but of course it's just bland, just white and blue. Snooze fest of a scheme. Ooh boy. Well, as we did kind of talk with Nicholas a little bit, you never
Nicholas
know.
is about to jump back into the call here to set the record straight.
You never know what the future will hold with that paint scheme. Hopefully, maybe they can get some more involved with that in the future.
I like the simplicity of it, especially when you have a really recognizable brand like Progressive. Like that blue's gonna pop. You don't need to overdo it.
Yeah.
Especially under the lights.
Mhm.
Ooh, yeah.
SW, appreciate the $1.99. 101 berries with a few strawberry emojis there.
Oh my god! Wow.
Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart, appreciate the $2. How does NASCAR keep longtime fans interested?
That is a large question.
That is a loaded
How much
question.
time you got? I mean, that's
We got a minute left of this.
even the ones who say that NASCAR died when Dale died, they still care enough that they're checking in on it somehow because they're still seeing what's happening today. So whether they like to say it or not, like just once you become a fan of it, it's hard to really step away from it. Like even me, I can get times where I'm a little bit annoyed at the way NASCAR can be with some things, but I'm still gonna watch it. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know if there's really a good answer for that. Like it's just once you've been a fan for that long, you just always gonna see it.
They needed, I think they've done a good job of balancing the past with the future. I mean, the 75th anniversary celebration, I thought, did a great job of highlighting historic moments in the sport. They do still lean into their roots with some of these new tracks, like new revisit like Wilkesboro and Bowman Gray and so on. But you also have to keep things fresh. You have to give people a reason to check back in every year. What's the new thing this year? Mexico City, Chicago, the new car, different rule changes. There'll be probably a new playoff format next season. Like, I do think they need to continue to balance that. You can't just grow old and grow stale. Not even baseball is staying the same. And that's another American tradition. You got to give people something new to kind of sink their teeth into at the same time, without fully losing touch with your original identity. And I think NASCAR, a lot of folks are obviously disagree. You go to Facebook, 90% of the Facebook comments would disagree with what I'm saying, but I think NASCAR has actually done a respectable job at that over the past few years.
Well, we appreciate that question. I know we hit 3 minutes, but we're not going to end on that one. We're going to end with 2 more. Justin Drake, really appreciate that $100 you dropped in on us. Very generous. Appreciate that, man. On spring break, traveling around Florida this week, so won't be as active as I usually am. Still love the show and wanted to support you guys like I usually do. We really appreciate that, Justin. Have fun down in Florida.
Thanks, Justin.
The weather's probably really great down there right now, so I hope it's a good time for you. But we are going to end with this one right here. $5 from Andrew Winslow, a.k.a. Sal. Appreciate that. This week's big loser is Kyle Busch. His punishment, travel to Mexico with a special surprise again before the Mexico City race.
Not the special surprise.
I'm coming strapped.
No, goodness. That's funny.
Now put it in your wife's duffel bag.
Gosh.
We always appreciate Andrew and sticking to the bit of Sal. Appreciate that.
What's going on?
Guys, I don't know about Jarrett on his end of town, but just a minute ago, I heard just like a lot of noise, and I just opened up my radar, and we are just getting a random line of thunderstorms that have popped up, and it's bringing in some lightning just in time for the lightning round.
Yeah, it is. And really quick, before we talk anything else, it looks like it didn't hit it. It looks like it went just south, but a tornado actually dropped down about a mile south of Chicagoland Speedway today. Like, I'm not actually joking. Like, it actually happened. Like, they had a legit lightning round out there. All you guys out there at Chicagoland, love you guys. Glad it seems like you're all right. I didn't reach out. I probably should, but keep it going. Keep it going. Now, there is a few things here to touch on. First off, we have the NWP channel for episode replays, specials we'll put up there and stuff too. Hey, maybe at some point we might even just simulcast both like on one of our channels and there. So you have 2 places that on YouTube will pop up. Imagine they'll like have their subscription feed and it's just the same show on both. You can't choose wrong. So letting you know that. The big one, though, Justin Allgaier remains the top driver in 2025 in Cup in merch sales. Travelers Whiskey is interested in expanding their NASCAR promotion, with Justin being their number 1 choice of driver. You would have to think more than likely, if they can put something together, it'd be JRM. I think one of us has a prediction about that happening for another JRM race this year. So fingers crossed there. And then big thing for next week, will be live on Eric's channel, March 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I believe, Eric, we have a guest coming on too. 2 weeks in a row.
Breakard will be joining us in 1 week. Some folks say we look alike. I don't see it. Yeah, we're both tall. Yeah, we're both white guys with brown hair, beard, mustache, talk NASCAR almost daily. I don't see it. I don't get it. But yeah, Breakard will be joining us next week. That should be cool.
And I have no idea why my voice just kept going higher and higher like that. But, you know, that is the lightning round. Oh, my God. It's like Jerry Seinfeld.
Very quick lightning round. It's very appropriate because these storms that we have in the area are just kind of small and just popping up. So these are going to be quick little showers. So just perfect for the quick lightning round this week.
Oh, wait, there's actually stuff going on. That's all right. I completely forgot that was happening tonight. Danny, do you think we'll be a little safer north of the border?
Yeah, it's funny. Our chat, they must have access to our document, because I started seeing people saying, "Oh, Canada" in the chat, and that's literally the next thing we have on our calendar here.
Yeah, what's going on, man? It seems like there's a bit of movement.
Yeah, the seems like Canada wants to see more NASCAR racing going on here, and maybe this is good that we can finally be having this conversation, because I think we said this a couple weeks ago. Steve Phelps was saying last year we should expect NASCAR to be racing on both ends of the border and Southern California. Well, only one of those is happening this year, but maybe we could actually make the Cup Series work out to be in Canada by 2027 and Xfinity in trucks as early as next season. If we can work with the government and in Quebec and hopefully get a chance to go up there and check things out and visit again real soon.
You know what? I have a theory. Maybe Canadians with this plan, maybe they're just really big Dodge fans. Because Trucks is having Dodge come back in 26, with the Ram. And then it's looking more and more likely that 2027, you'll have Dodge come back to Cup possibly. Like, maybe they were just holding out for Dodge to come back. Maybe all along, Canadian racing fans were just that much a little bit more American than us when it came to Dodge.
Well, I do hope this happens. I know some fans will roll their eyes. Oh, another road course. And who knows, maybe it replaces, if we don't have another street race by that point, maybe it replaces Chicago. Maybe it replaces COTA at some point if they don't keep renewing that lease. But even if it just becomes its own thing, I just think having a race in all, on north of the border in Canada, obviously in the US, and then in Mexico, having the three major
countries of North America
countries. Yeah, exactly. And I just think, for years, the lower series raced in Canada. The NASCAR Canada series has been around for a fairly long time now. Like, there are a lot of fans, especially just across the border in places like Montreal, Toronto. I think it'd be great to reward them with a race. I think they'll support a race, and that's great. So road course or not, I just think it's great to have a race in that country. I think it's overdue on the Cup Series side. So I hope this happens.
Yeah. I think I accidentally wore red and white, but for Canada. But I've always been saying for a while now that Montreal needed. Well, I mean, it's not confirmed Montreal, but if it is, more likely will be Montreal. I've always said that is a racetrack that I feel like we shouldn't have left, because at least for the Xfinity series, at least to my knowledge, has always put on banger races. And it's always had a great crowd. It's not like the crowd, even I think it's the last year, there was still a really good crowd that came out to support the Xfinity series. So definitely hope to see this work out. And like you said, it's great for the sport overall, whether if it replaces a race or just being in Canada, the US, and Mexico, being across the North Americas. It's only good for the sport. Maybe not good for the owners' wallets, but for fans, it's a huge improvement to the diversity of the schedule, and also to try and make the sport more global, at least in the Americas.
And what I like about it too is, like, I always see in my analytics, the second largest country of NASCAR fans is always Canada. It's always America, and then Canada is always right after. And I've been pretty big all along with when we talked about the international stuff, that I think Canada deserved the race first if it could work out that way, because they've been a very small but loyal part of the fan base. There's been a ton of back and forth with people in the industry from Canada, especially. And they put on some great races, and this has been an effort NASCAR's been putting on. We talked about with the races in the 2000s and the 2010s. There was the failed Canadian Motor Speedway that Jeff Gordon tried having built up there just north of Buffalo. So it's something that NASCAR, I think, now has the infrastructure with time passing and making it more open, that we now have the ability to actually make this happen, and make it happen not just for a 5-year span, but maybe just like a permanent fixture. As long, for me, it obviously, because of weather and not wanting to put it in the playoffs probably, and then also Formula One being moved back to May, it's probably going to be somewhere mid-June to August. I just say, honestly, if you can figure out where to move Sonoma on the schedule, so you're not having to go from like Sonoma up to Canada afterwards, logistically. And my other thing on this, and maybe it's just because I'm an American on this, just don't put it on the 4th of July. Like, can we leave that an American race?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Atlanta. Road America again was awesome. Chicago has taken up the mantle. That's like my one sticking point. Like, put it anywhere else
Fair
you want
enough.
on the schedule. I want my American race in America. That's
You
it.
don't think
Fair
NASCAR
point.
would be that tone deaf to do that? Though, right?
Depends
There's
on the
no way.
money.
It depends on how desperate they are and if they can't move anything else around. But yeah, that
I
would
will-
be suboptimal.
Just get
I
rid of the
will
roll.
say, if the Cup Series does go to Canada, at the earliest we're looking at 27. I was just curious. I was like, how old is Ron Fellows? He's 65 now. Turns 66 later this year, so he'd be like 67, turning 68. I don't think we're going to see a Ron Fellows return, sadly.
Danica, come back for redemption.
Don't.
Where's my boot? I'm throwing it.
Steel toe this time, damn it.
I'm not gonna miss.
That's one of
Missed, but didn't
Funniest
last.
moments in NASCAR history, right there.
That-
Wacky.
I remember watching that, and I know she had problems before that, but I remember watching that race and just being like, no way. Danica
Yeah.
Patrick was actually running good. She was dominating,
Like,
She
had a
had
real
no
chance to win.
Yeah.
and against great competition too.
And she
Like-
runs over a shoe.
Yeah, it's like one of the 3 races she looked like a competent, competitive race car driver in NASCAR, and that happened. The other ones I think were like Atlanta and Kansas in 2014.
Yeah.
So, but
Interesting
I'm excited.
insight here from off in the S's says that if NASCAR does go to Montreal, they think it would be close to when the F1 race is scheduled because it's a lot of work to set that street course up.
So, if that's the case, how
That's
long
just
is the
their-
Mexico race going to last? Because if you're putting it like in early June, you got to go from Canada all the way down to Mexico. Like,
Charlotte's kind of on the way. That actually might make sense.
The only
just
thing I
get-
would assume maybe they do like a week off there.
Maybe they can, they
Maybe.
can work in an extra week off.
do you do it the week after the 600 and then you move because I have a feeling Nashville will stick around with Prime because Nashville, like one of the huge hubs for Prime is Nashville. Like
It's like right outside the
Yeah,
track.
it's literally Amazon
Yeah.
warehouse right behind the speedway.
and it would make sense to keep that. So maybe you do the Canadian race or the Mexico race, one or the other. You do it the week after the 600 because everyone's there. Everyone gets a head start for the most part. Holiday, the day after. So it's like you would think if depending on a certain point, there might not be traffic. There might be more traffic. I don't know. I just think logistically, I don't know about butting them right next to each other. If you were to maybe have it like 2 weeks after the Mexico one, like you do the 600, you go to Mexico, then you
Call it
come back.
the world tour portion of the schedule.
Well, you come back and you do maybe Nashville because that's pretty close. And then
you
just
actually
swing
you
back
pass
up.
you pass through. I'm looking on Google Maps. It's a 45-hour drive from Mexico City to Montreal, but you pass right through Nashville.
Maybe. I mean,
There you go.
because you'd have to have different kinds of cars for the Nashville race. Maybe you just like drop those cars off with a separate team of haulers or something, just to like, you just leave them there for a couple of weeks. I don't know. I just logistically, I have a feeling that's why it's been held back the most, is because of the date more than
Yeah.
anything. 'Cause
I'm
you can't-
sure.
And now F1 moving back has at least opened up more of a window where
This is-
you didn't have it.
This is an insane drive. You'd go from Houston through Texarkana, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Buffalo.
I've been
drive right there.
everywhere, man.
Man.
I've been everywhere.
I agree with Peter Strada. We could just run one of the 5 F1 tracks that we have here in Nashville, of course.
You can't
Worldwide
call it a
appeal.
world tour then. You
No.
can't get that cute little stamp on your passport.
I mean, think
I mean-
about it. With Charlotte, Mexico, and Canada, and you also got the World 600, technically.
Yeah,
So-
there you go.
By the way, I know we're going to go
Yeah.
off topic here. Like, dislikes, $5. Get buy Jet a chair funds. For your information, I actually do have one. Okay.
Hold damn thing up.
That's
wanna
not
sit
how
on it.
you use it, Jet. You're supposed to sit in it.
It's to be used, not for decoration.
Man, hey, let me be.
Someone needs to send Ben Kennedy our world tour idea.
Hey, man.
Mexico,
Oh,
World 600, Montreal.
Someone
Right.
just clipping
you go.
this segment unsolicited, no title subject, just the video, and say, just watch this.
Does
I'll
anyone
be
have Ben
honest.
Kennedy's phone number or email? I'll settle for a WhatsApp.
I mean, we can always see if we can get him on the show and ask. Like, why not? We got Steve Phelps on before. Let's give it a shot.
Make
You
sure
know?
you ask like for royalty, since we came up with the idea. So.
Just 421 people watching this. Let's get half of you guys to just go to NASCAR headquarters tomorrow and barge in and say, we demand to show this to Ben Kennedy. Don't actually do that.
Parody.
In Minecraft.
Still
Do it in Minecraft.
in Minecraft. Yes, in Minecraft.
Barge into NASCAR headquarters in Minecraft.
Oh man, I can't wait. There's going to be more details that come out soon. But Danny, are we at the fun segments yet?
We are at the fun segment, and I know we're at the fun segment because you guys don't see, but Shugs is off camera, really wanting to get my attention right now. And so I'm going to have to, unfortunately, go step away and put the kitty outside of the office so we can have fun in the fun segments.
Well, while you're absent, I'll kick us off on this. Let's go to our prediction segment here. So each one of us will make 2 NASCAR motorsports show related predictions. We can do it as crazy as we want. We can even make it like about us. I mean, heck, last year we did the 3 podcast hosts NFL teams predictions at points. We keep track each week in our accountability session, and we'll keep them relatively concise within a few years, but we can always play around with that. Accountability on my end. I said the margin of victory for the Cup race would be a quarter second or less. And then Josh Berry ran away.
Hey.
Damn. Eric.
Damn, Barry.
That Ty Gibbs would score a top 10 at Las Vegas.
You know better.
That's rough, buddy. And Danny said Justin Haley would not score a top 10 during the truck race at Las Vegas. Justin Haley, since Danny didn't watch, I'll tell him, was passed for 10th on turn 4 of the final lap.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Buzzer beater for Danny means that I have a 46.66 repeating percent completion on the year so far. Eric's at 31.58, and Danny, you're at the quarter mark. The comeback is fully on.
I can deal with that. 25% feels a lot more solid. I can handle that.
As for all time, I'm still leading at 42.99 repeating percent. Eric at 31.75, and Danny has jumped up to 30 flat since 2024.
I can deal with that. 30% sounds solid for all time, honestly.
So I'll lead us off here, and I'm going to say this. We talked about how Harvick has to force in different words, how they have to do different things in dead air time. I think he did this last year. If he did, he'll do it again. If not, he'll do it this year. Kevin Harvick, at some point, whether a rain delay, a practice qualifying session, or race during the 2025 NASCAR season, will say the word skibbity.
All right. Well, I'm going to purge that from everyone's mind.
I hope we have someone working for Fox that just low-key watches us every now and again and just forces him to say that now.
I don't hope that someone from
No,
we destroyed. Well, actually, maybe I do want them to hear it. Constructive criticism and all. Yes, I hope that. Who owns Fox? I don't even know. I hope they're watching. My 2 predictions, and I'll just do the first one, obviously, but you'll notice a similar theme. Kyle Larson pulling triple duty this weekend. I think he will lead the most laps in every race.
Ooh. Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean you think he'll win.
Not necessarily going to win. Not going to, I'm not going to predict where he finishes. I'm just saying he will lead the most laps in all 3 races.
Interesting.
And as much as I did not have confidence in Justin Haley's Truck Series race last week, I do have confidence in Noah Gragson in the Cup Series this week, and he will finish in the top 10 at Homestead this weekend.
Well, my prediction will be kind of jumping off what Eric says with Larson doing triple duty. I don't think not only will Kyle Larson not win any of the 3 races, he's not going to finish on Sunday. I think something's going to happen. He's going to DNF.
Think he's going to aim for the barrels again?
Oh, yes. Aim for the barrels, aim for the wall.
Aim for the bushes.
He's going to aim for something head first. I don't know. Oh, actually, no, not head first. Not like that.
Let's not say that, actually. Hold on.
No,
Clip it.
Damn it! No, not like that. But whatever. He's not gonna finish. There we go. Just move on.
Ever again.
That wasn't much better, honestly, out in on tone.
I had something better in my head, and it just came out wrong. Oh, stop it!
Oh man! All right, I'm gonna
dig in the hole at this point, man.
I'm gonna lead us off on round 2 here. I'm gonna say this. I have a couple ones in the chamber still when it comes to playoff predictions. I want to fire off, but I'll have one of them this week. 6 drivers, no more, no less. 6 drivers that missed the 2024 playoffs will make it in Cup in 2025.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
we got Josh Berry in now.
Berry in, and I can think of 2 or 3 others that are likely, but that's 6 is a lot. So I said earlier, Larson will lead the most laps in each race. I also believe Larson will spin out at least twice this weekend.
Oh my God.
Huh.
You're going to have all the angry Hendrick fanboys being like, you hate Kyle Larson.
Hey.
All right. Actually, he's the best driver on earth.
Wow. Okay.
Actually.
All right, Danny, I hijacked it too much. Go.
No, you're good. You're good. It's funny when I was walking back from letting Shugs go out of the office here. I heard you say something about us doing our NFL teams at some point. I ain't waiting until late in the year. I'm doing one now.
Uh-oh.
At least one of our 3 NFL teams will trade out of our current first round draft positions. Probably my team too. Honestly, we're gonna find a way to screw up having the first number 1 pick.
Well, yeah, Tennessee has the first pick, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
I think we might be dumb enough to let that go.
At the first pick of the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cam Scattaboo. All right.
People be thinking, I thought I was going to say the other Cam. What about Cam Ward?
It's the Titans. He said no.
I'm not gonna go to the football route since my Dolphins are they're unsavable at this point. So I'll stick with racing. I believe
because that's the one team we can somehow still beat. I don't know.
I believe there are a couple big name drivers that are below the top 25 in points. I'll go a step further. A driver that is 30th or worse in points at the moment will win a race this year.
Ooh, that includes Keselowski and Ty Gibbs. So those are some viable. Oh, okay. That now I'm starting to think this one's
okay. Layups here now.
I'm thinking that there's no way all 3 of those guys go win this now.
No.
Right.
Cody
Ware.
No.
Wait, Cole Custer is in that group. Oh, this isn't fair. Sorry.
Hey, kind of following up on earlier, Adam Stern just put a tweet out a minute ago. Says NASCAR has been working in recent months to try and find a new insurance category partner after Geico's exit and met with Progressive in the past. Industry execs have mentioned USAA as a company NASCAR would likely meet with to fill in Geico's spot. So interesting.
He's been doing a lot with Gronk.
Denny Hamlin just keeps winning, man. What they're getting their injunction one, steals Progressive from NASCAR. Man, the France family just catching L's at the hands of DH.
And it was he was recently quoted, apparently, like Michael Jordan is really, really pissed with the countersuit of Curtis Polk, because he's basically said, like, if you're going after him, you're going after me, and now we're going to be for real. And I'm like,
I'll tell you this. When I was at Homestead, I talked to someone that works in NASCAR, and you are 1,000% right. He is pissed and said he doesn't want to go to any races except for the playoffs. Like, if obviously if any of the 20 lemon cars are in it, but other than that, he said he doesn't want to show up. Like, he is.
I'm blaming him. Fair enough. Again, that headline at some point is going to be on Good Morning America or whatever. It's going to be like, NASCAR sues Michael Jordan, or Michael Jordan sues NASCAR, or they're going to catch up to it 7 months, 8 months late on something on it, but it will pop up. And every normie is going to be like, oh, you went after Michael Jordan.
It ain't looking good for the French.
Michael Jordan is one of those people that even if I've seen NASCAR fans that don't necessarily like his driver, Bubba, but they love Michael Jordan. It's good. He's such an interesting sports character.
Yeah, man, don't mess with them, Jay. But yeah, that's the predictions. Oh, is this the real fun segment now?
Yeah.
Yeah, hide the chat. Hide the chat.
That means you too, Jet.
Random driver of the week.
All right.
Jet, I believe you won the last time you were on.
I did. I got my boy Ben Kennedy.
We ain't had a guest win in a while, and it was probably you, I'd say.
Right.
So you have the opportunity to spoil a pretty good fight going on between Eric and Danny. Danny leading Eric 18-17 all time in random driver of the week. In the last 5, Eric has bookended with 5 drivers ago with Timothy Peters, as well as last week with Bobby Allison. And he broke Danny's 3 straight weeks of winning, like Christopher Bell, when Danny got Mike Harmon, Tim Fedowa, and Casey Mears. So are you guys ready?
I should have got Bobby Allison. I was starting to thank him, but some things weren't adding up.
You gave us some kind of odd clues. If I remember, even last week, the chat was torn for a while, right?
I found some pretty good ones.
Did you say the chat didn't get it until the end? Maybe it was the week before.
They got it past the halfway point and started.
Yeah, so you gave us some hard Bobby Allison clues, to be fair.
Right. Jet doesn't want to do this. He walked away.
No. Listen, I'm feeling lucky tonight, so I'm gonna wear this out. Okay, now I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. This random driver was actually seen a lot in the pits during the early to mid 2000s.
When you say pits, like
he was on pit road.
Like he was down in the dumps.
He was on pit road.
I feel like that's very broad.
That's a very interesting.
I feel like that could be a trick question to make you think it's an old driver. What if they were young?
Thank you, Danny. Honestly, you're probably right, and I was not thinking about that.
This random driver was the subject of a children's book published in 2001.
All right. Well, that
does not help.
This random driver also has made 1 career ARCA start. Just 1.
I'm going to throw a guess out there. John Hunter Nemechek.
I was thinking that too.
And Eric, go down to the sounder here for a moment. Correct.
Whoa!
I was thinking it was maybe him.
Are you kidding me? What? Are you kidding me? I wore this for nothing.
Going that fast, but I was thinking that too.
The chat didn't even get there.
I wore this for nothing. Man.
So to explain these, John Hunter Nemechek would be in a fire suit on pit road a lot of the times for his dad in the U.S. Army car back in the day.
I should have just said nothing. I think I gave that to Eric with that.
Yeah. Actually, Danny should get like a 3rd credit.
Hold up. Eric, what made you think of that? Like,
I was just thinking driver kids. And obviously I was thinking Elliott. I was thinking Blaney. And then I was like, John Hunter Nemechek's kind of odd. Yeah, why not?
I feel like now I remember hearing that fact about the children's book now.
His dad published that book. He's made an ARCA start. There's so many good facts that I won't be able to get to.
I'm so sorry, Jared. I was honestly throwing it out there just to be like, I
didn't even get to write my numbers down, guys.
Bro, I was gonna ask Jared, can you repeat that before? Is that a record?
Like, do we have another one? Can we just do it again?
I think that I did not bring a backup random driver.
I didn't mean to ruin the fun. I'm so sorry, guys. I was like, there's a 20% chance this is right. I just wanted to get a guess out there because I always wait.
Definitely a record for the fastest, though. It's got to be.
Because let's see.
Someone got one in like 5.
Ellie Productions did.
Yes.
So, but I think he either got that in 5 or 2. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was in that range. 5.
It was right around what
4
we just did. Someone's got to check the tape. I hope I hold the record now.
That was the fastest
by score. It's now 18-18.
I was so looking forward to that segment, and that's why I even brought out the fur coat because I was like, I was looking forward to this.
I'm so sorry,
you just ruined my mood. Like,
we're not having fun.
I'm not having fun no more.
A positive thing here is that you get to at least spoil the fun as the first one picking each of the race wins and the suck and dark horse picks this week. So,
all right, Eric. All right, here we go.
Yeah, you can get your revenge here when it matters.
So I got that. All roads lead to Homestead, even the ones that are on fire with the brush fire right now.
Yeah. Okay, so are we starting with trucks or are we going like to Cup?
Well, we'll have
First,
Danny read off a
I'm
few
gonna
of the things.
give us some
Okay.
weekend notes here. We are headed into Homestead here. Kyle Larson will be in all 3 races. Brandon Jones is in the beautiful Kingsford #1 Tricon truck this weekend. Jet, you'll appreciate this since you said you're a Dolphins fan. Miami Dolphins linebacker Bradley Chubb will get the command of the Cup race this weekend.
Yes. Love it.
The Cup Series race name this weekend, long gone are the days of the Ford 400. We got the Straight Talk Wireless 400 this weekend, 267 lap race, 80 laps in stage 1, 85 laps in stage 2, 102 laps in stage number 3. The race is scheduled to start at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch this race on FS1 and the Fox Sports app and listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM. Weather for this weekend, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy, 6% chance of rain by Florida standard. That is fantastic. The defending winner of this race is Tyler Reddick. The Xfinity Series race name this weekend is the Hard Rock Bet 300. It's a 200 lap race, 45 laps in stage 1 and 2, and 110 laps in the final stage. This race is scheduled to start at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch this race on the CW or listen to MRN and Sirius XM. Weather for this weekend on Saturday is 80 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and a 5% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is Austin Hill. The Truck Series race is the Baptist Health 200. It's a 134 lap race, 30 laps each in stage 1 and 2, and 74 laps in stage number 3. This race is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Friday night. You can catch this race on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Yes, that's Big Fox showing this weekend's Truck Series race, it says. And you can listen to this on the NASCAR Racing Network and Sirius XM Saturdays. Oh, wait, the Saturday night. My bad, not Friday night. Saturday night.
Oh, it's Friday. My bad. I didn't change that.
Okay, well, it is on Friday night. Jared corrected me. He has Saturday in the notes. 76 degrees and a 2% chance of rain. Great weather by Florida standards this weekend. We could not ask for better Florida weather.
Beautiful,
And then-
beautiful.
And the defending winner of this race is Grant Enfinger.
And then that's the drivers only broadcast as well. I think it's Harvick, Brad, Logano in the booth, and then is it Hocevar and is it Barry on pit road?
I know host of ours on pit road. I forget who
I
else.
think it's Kosovar and Cindric.
Cindric is.
Yes. I knew it was a Ford guy.
I just
So,
remember
What you're
Harvick
saying
saying
is
they had
no
the two
James
tallest
Little, right?
guys.
No Jamie Little, because she'll probably be over in the IndyCar race. You know, 'cause
Yes,
Fox,
that's right. That's right.
Fox still cares about NASCAR, right? They got the Daytona 500.
Kinda.
That's all that mattered for them.
And even that, it looks like they don't care.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about pick points. Chat, you have the lead with 88 points. Doing it for Dale Jr., I see. Jarrett is in second, -2 points. Eric is third, -5. And I am in fourth, -9. Basement boy, technically, but you could still put a blanket over all of us. But this week we will pick Jet will go first, followed by me, Eric, Jarrett, and the chat will pick last. Jet, you have the chance to play spoiler this weekend. You can be a Kyle Busch in a truck race, so to speak, here, or a Kyle Larson in a truck race, so to speak, as of this weekend. So start us off, Jet. I think we probably know what direction you might go, but who do you say is going to win a truck race?
I'm not going to pick Kyle Larson. Nor am I going to pick. No, listen. Hey, I'm not. I just.
You don't have to pity us.
All right, listen, Jared. All right, no, don't make me feel bad about my choice. You know what? Screw it. I'm going Ty Majeski. I'm going with him.
I'm Majeski. Chat, you can stop saying 07. I choose Larson.
All right, listen. Hey, I don't care.
All right. Well, I guess, man, part of me wants to go with Grant, but I think I have to take Corey Heim.
Damn.
That was my second because I thought that's who I was going to have to get.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Just because I think he'll be solid. He's been pretty good in the truck races he's been in. I'm going to go Ross Chastain.
Fair enough. Chat.
The
You
chat
get,
has
you get
changed.
scraps.
They wanted 07 and they wanted 11. So now who did they get?
Maybe end finger. See a lot of nines.
I'm
I see the
seeing
finger.
9 and 34, but I think I'm seeing 9 more. So I'm gonna give him Grant end finger.
Okay.
They
not
got
bad.
the finger.
Give him the finger.
Yes, give
All
him the
right.
finger.
The Xfinity Series. Jet, who do you think will take the win over in the Xfinity Series this weekend?
All right. Well, I have to go back because I said that Larson wouldn't win any races. So I was,
Oh, that's right.
I got to commit to it. But I got the 7 of Allgaier. I got him.
All right, give me Kyle Larson because that was my second pick, Justin Allgaier.
Danny's been gift wrapped a Larson weekend.
This is crap. I want to recount.
I told the guys. I told the guys earlier before. I was like, "Crap! I forgot Jet's picking first, so I don't get my number one. I don't get who I really wanted."
All right. Well, I'll take. Wait, I'm next, right? Yeah, I'll take Austin Hill.
God damn it. I'm like everyone. I'm thinking maybe I'll get my second pick. No.
Maybe the chat feels, Jarrett.
Sheldon
All
Creasy.
right. Yeah, he is. You know what? I think he gets some redemption from this past weekend. Had a really fast car. Should have finished top 3. Could have competed for the win. I'm going to go Connor Zelich.
Oh,
Wow.
you took it from the chat.
Okay.
They wanted them.
I
they
think
were all
that's where they were
88.
going. Wow.
I was
Oh, yeah,
half
a lot
on.
of
I was
88s.
half and half, either Zilich or Creed, but I'm like, which one could close it out and actually get me the win?
I'm seeing
Oh,
a lot
man.
of seeing
That
Mayer.
was definitely who they wanted, but
Waffle.
I think they are starting
Waffle.
to pivot.
Pivot.
I think they're going one. They're going Carson Quaffle.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
There we go. All right. Who's going to suck?
In the
Is he going to pick Are you going to pick Larson for this one?
Okay. All right. When you say suck, I say suck just on the sense of they just don't got speed. I think Larson will have speed. It's just something's gonna happen that makes him finish poorly, right? I'll go with an easy one. Kick him while he's down. I got Ty Gibbs is gonna suck.
Yeah.
We are allowed to pick the same. I had Ty Gibbs as well.
Oh, I was going to take SVG.
Eric.
It's interesting because Allmendinger is so good here. So I wonder if SVG will also it's like something about road course guys. We'll find out.
I'm on the same page. I don't think SVG finishes this race.
Mm-mm.
And
I think there'll be an incident.
Chat's going Cole Custer.
Do we
Random,
see
okay.
3 straight weeks of big wrecks? That's an interesting one.
Ooh.
Could.
And if so, I'm
Possibly.
betting it's on the backstretch because it always is
The
on the
restart?
backstretch at Homestead. Always.
Unless it's 2016.
Yeah, but that one you have to go out of your way to make that happen.
Yeah. Okay, chat. Yeah, Cole Custer. All right. Dark horse.
Yep.
All right. Dark horse, I'm gonna take Daniel Suarez. Last 3 weeks, he has had the speed. Vegas finally had the speed to put together a solid race. I'm gonna go with the Suarez.
Eric brought up a good point. AJ Allmendinger has finished 3rd, 5th, and 8th the last 3 years here at Miami, and I think that's going to continue maybe on a top 10 streak here for him. I'm going to go AJ Allmendinger as my underdog.
Yeah, Allmendinger's a true underdog pick, but I'll throw out Bubba Wallace's name as well. The finishes don't look great, but look at the stage points this year. He's been really fast, and I remember last fall at Homestead. I don't know where he finished, but he was top 5 for a great portion of that race. So I'll throw Bubba's name out there.
I almost chose Carson Hocevar because how we ran last year. I mean, the only people that were ahead of him consistently were the best of the best. But I'm also going to go AJ. I think that AJ is somebody who, honestly, just a little calamity happens up towards the front, or just the right strategy race happens, and AJ Allmendinger could win this race.
Ooh, I don't know if I go that far, but he could be in the mix.
Strategy races, man.
Stranger things have
chat
happened.
also
So I'm
AJ. It
surprised.
looks like they're going that way.
Yeah, it's
they're
between
going
AJ and Hocevar, because Hocevar is another good dark horse. He was 9th, I think, here last fall.
And he was running better than that like the entire day. He had found his own line. He had found his own line last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now who is going to win the Cup Series race at Miami this weekend. Jet, who
All
do
right.
you want to go with?
Well, again, can't take the 5. So I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney on this one. He had a real fast car last weekend, and doing some numbers since the Next Gen era at Homestead, he's had the best average running position among all drivers with a 5.6 and a third best driver rating since Next Gen. So he runs well there. Obviously, nearly won there last fall. I got the 12 car Blaney.
Shit, I really thought I was going to have Blaney at the 3 pick. Dang it.
And I'll just go ahead and take him for every single race this weekend. Give me Kyle Larson.
Danny, when I make the graphic,
Eric
when I make the graphic to put on Twitter for every single one of the picks, it's going to be great because I can just leave Danny's the same and just change the number.
Yep, there you go.
Saving him some steps. I guess I have to go with my 3rd pick. Then I really thought I was going to have Blaney available. Shoot, I guess I'll take the most recent winner. He's pretty good here too, Tyler Reddick.
Yep, chat. You can stop saying 45. I knew you'd want him.
And before you say anything else, Christopher Bell.
Oh,
I'll go Bell on this one.
They were starting to pivot 22. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, I already knew they were going to do that. I'm just going to
Damn
go
it.
ahead.
It's pretty torn between 24 and 11.
I don't think it's that. Well, it get maybe a little bit, but I think it's more 24.
I'm going to poll it. It's pretty torn.
do a quick poll.
Go
I think you
poll,
should do a
go
quick
poll.
poll to be sure.
Yeah. It's between Denny and Byron.
Billiam.
So give them a little bit the poll. There you go.
Byron.
Vote away.
Let's see. what
Denny
they think.
Hamlin finished 3rd here, right? Last fall.
Oh, it's pretty torn. It's
It
pretty
is
torn.
50-50. Oh my goodness.
You're saying it wasn't torn. It's pretty torn.
Boom.
Oh my goodness. I feel like you just got to, like, in 10 seconds, Danny, just like shut it down and see who's ahead.
Let YouTube automatically choose which
Yeah,
one
just
to
let
be ahead.
YouTube pick one.
Like, do
Wait
like,
till
like a heads or tails like generator.
We could flip a coin. I don't know if I have a
Wait
coin.
till it's an odd number of votes because then YouTube will show you which one was actually ahead. Because if
Okay,
it's
right
like
now they can stay an even. 120.
Mm,
Yeah, I thought I had a
Went down to
coin.
119. Now 121. Well, now 120. How many do you have? Okay, end at
now
120.
21,
People
23.
unvoted?
Voted.
Oh,
Oh, no.
50.
We got to do it again.
Okay, hold on a second. How about this as a tiebreaker? 24, 11, neither. Whichever one wins.
Well, I feel like
that's
people
the
just-
tiebreaker.
I don't know if that's gonna move the needle.
But I mean, if we're just gonna put the same poll up again, it might just be a tie again.
I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to think if there's like a game we could play with the chat. Chat, wait here. I'm thinking. I'm gonna write down a number. Yes, between 1 and 10.
Okay, you know what? It's gonna make more sense if you guys actually screw yourselves and choose this meme option. You get Kyle Busch.
How about like, oh, okay, chicken. Oh, jeez.
I chose the meme option.
C. I pick C.
There we go. Watch it just be 3-way tie.
They're gonna purposely make it that way.
Oh no. A lot more 24s.
Chicken Tender has more votes than Denny Hamlin.
Oh, that's crazy.
Hey, this is NWP. We got to have some reference to chicken every
Yeah.
episode.
Good call, Danny. This is good thinking.
Yeah.
Smart man.
People are saying, I'll take Kyle Busch. Screw it.
I
Okay.
think I know.
All right, you guys get Byron.
Byron.
Wow, it took a chicken tender to break the tie. What we learned today is that there are more fans of chicken tenders than there
Denny
are of Denny
Hamlin will
Hamlin.
lose to a literal chicken tender this weekend.
To be fair, chicken's pretty good.
Yes, chicken tenders, man. Get some nice chicken taco from Taco Bell. Yeah.
Ugh,
All right.
good stuff.
Final.
There
Yeah.
we go. We have
I felt good
decided.
about my picks until Jet took Blaney. That ruined my night. So you successfully got me back for ruining the random driver of the week.
Yes. And I don't listen. I don't. I'll take it. All right, I'll take the heat, but I'm sticking with Larson not winning anything. All right.
I respect the commitment to the bit.
All right, y'all can call me crazy. And you know what? I am a little bit. I got a concussion as a baby, so maybe that explains a lot. But
You got to commit to being the hater, okay? You know.
I know I'm not a hater.
Actually, you're a Kyle Larson hater. Actually,
If you don't believe he can win every race, you're a hater.
He's
actually
actually
better
better
than
than Max Verstappen.
I would know this. I am the mod of 77,000 subreddits.
Oh my god!
All about Kyle Larson?
All about Kyle Larson.
Didn't realize there was that much.
Wow.
Oh man, I think we should
All right.
probably get this.
Let's
thing
get into the
rolling
final
down.
super chat stage break here. Appreciate you guys for your support each and every week. We are funded by viewers like you. Let's see here. We last ended off with Andrew Winslow, aka Sal. So we're going to pick up here with Zutch. Appreciate the $2 from you. Logano finishes 4th of Penske cars and points.
that would be brutal to go from a championship to that.
Yes, it would. I don't see it. Chris McIntyre, appreciate the $5 from you. Gibbs better turn it around and soon. Look at the young talent coming down the pipeline for his ride. This is giving me Ricky Hendricks vibes. I don't think he's got that much to worry about, not for his ride, but I see what you're saying, though.
It's just there's pressure to perform naturally. He's not fearing for his job at this point, but there is, there's expectations, and you don't want to have to be asked the hard questions. Because that's the thing is, because he's so far down in points, he's not doing the media scrums every week, and they're not obviously forcing him in front of the cameras because he's got nothing good to say. But at some point, he is going to have to answer questions. He will do media, and you want to have something good to talk about. It's not fun to be running bad.
Jam plays games. Appreciate the $1.99 from you. Fun fact. Cody Ware is still behind the 84 in points.
I had to double check to ensure that was true, and it is.
That's why Jimmy's the GOAT right there.
Because he's better than Cody Ware.
He beat a Rick Ware car. Hang the banner.
Hang the banner.
Snappy 452. Appreciate the $5. Ty Gibbs is on the struggle bus at the same time his beef of Chandler Smith forced him back to the truck series. Hello, karma. That's a Chandler Smith fan right there. Vogues, appreciate another $10 from you. He got it back from Jet, I guess, and he gave it to me. I'm expecting Artie to send us off with a minute-long shot of some kid in the stands and then miss a wreck. Yes, I could see it.
Yep.
They're flipping into the stands. Look at this kid on the other end of the track.
Watch his reaction.
Look at him cry.
All you hear in the background is Boyer just go.
Throw the pen. Yep.
The only time it is appropriate to specifically go after a kid's reaction is what WWE did on Monday when John Cena had turned heel, and he called out the entire crowd and even said, "That one kid right there," and it just pointed at the kid, just looking like he was just shocked that his hero was calling him out. And
I don't know. Adding some of the kids in when Chase Elliott blew up at Atlanta and they had the sad Elliott fan like montage. That was comedic gold.
That was the best use of the crowd shots we've seen.
I'm just waiting for they're gonna cut to a kid and he's just gonna mouth the he's just gonna be mouthing that off after his driver wrecks.
I love it.
Irvin Alvarado, appreciate the $9.99. I mean, sports TV contract deals are not set in stone with an out clause early. See MLB and ESPN as they will split after 2025. NBC moved its Xfinity coverage early to CW last year. That is true. You got a good point there.
And they've changed how many races before have been on broadcast versus cable. So there's changes that could happen.
Yeah.
And COVID, we saw one time where it was, I think Indy got pushed up and NBC still did that one in the middle of Fox stuff. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. That was weird timing.
That year is just that year wasn't real.
You kind of just had to go with it.
Blur.
It was whatever happened. Scrapyard 24C, appreciate the $5. I saw that Texas Motor Speedway is leaning into the Texas versus Oklahoma rivalry as of late, with Buescher representing Texas and Christopher Bell with Oklahoma. What are your thoughts on that? And I'll lean that more towards Eric. He's a better person for that one.
I mean, I think it's clever because that is obviously a huge collegiate rivalry. I don't know. Is Chris Buescher like a University of Texas fan? Because I know Bell is a University of Oklahoma fan. He is Boomer and all the Sooners, as far as I understand. But like Buescher, yeah, he's from North Texas, but I don't think he's tied to Austin. Either way, whatever you got to do to sell tickets, it seems like a fun campaign. Both drivers must be on board with it. It is. Even beyond college sports, I guess it's kind of a mild rivalry across the Red River here. So I like it. I think it's kind of cool, especially since Bell, at the very least, really leans into that part of his identity.
Jake Alcorn, appreciate the $4.99. If anyone needs a laugh, slow playback speed, a few clicks, and enjoy drunk NWP. Who's going to be our next first time Cup winner? I say Carson Hocevar on that.
Hocevar.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, I would say that too.
Or SVG at a road course. No, he's not.
He's not a first time winner.
No, he's not first.
First time as a full time driver. Yeah, never mind. I don't know. Zilich.
Hocevar is a good shout. I like that.
Yeah, Hocevar is probably the best bet.
Everyone's gonna be surprised when it's Ty Gibbs.
It could be Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
Like, dislike, appreciate the $5. Put this $5 in the Buy Jet a Chair fund.
Yep. Right here.
Guys, you won't believe who super chatted me $2.
Oh my. Oh my God.
Skip.
Skip. I am a healthy male.
Skip Bayless, $2. I can't lose in these shoes. MJ forever.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I hope I don't butcher this. Ryanidius, $2 Canada. Appreciate that. On behalf of all of chat, I demand the clues anyway. From John Hunter Nemechek.
Well,
what was the most
last
fun
one?
Now, what was the funnest fact you had in there, Jarrett?
I'll look for the funnest one. And I'll also look for the last one. The last one was Backstreet Boys.
Oh, that would have been yeah.
The funnest one. The funnest one is that this random driver, John Hunter Nemechek, has more YouTube subscribers than NASCAR's channel themselves at 1.41 million.
What?
Yep.
How does he have that many?
Shorts merchant.
Shorts, yeah. But
That's what I'm calling these TikTokers that come over. Because like on Instagram, we call them different things. Because Instagram is the wild, wild west, and I love it. Like I live on Instagram now because the reels are just that out of pocket. But now I'm
comments.
Maybe this makes me a YouTube boomer at this point. But I still, whether it's DannyBTalks or DannyBTrains, I prefer making longer form content.
I'll say this. When I say shorts merchant, it's a joke. No disrespect. Like, he's killing it out there. Joe Gibbs Racing, Toyota in general is killing the social media side of it. The rest of NASCAR needs to catch up. Like, and that includes like NASCAR. Like I've incorporated things they've done before. We all have, like, just because it's a melting pot of content. But it's like they're killing it. And John Hunter Nemechek is he's leading the way. He's doing great.
Is this true? He has a short with 600. Oh, they just deleted the comment, so maybe that was wrong. It said 600 million views. That seems insane. Wow.
I'll look it up.
Palm Tree 82. Appreciate the $20 from you. Very generous, man. The HBO Live is the greatest thing for NASCAR fans in a while. Avoid BS commercials. Follow your drivers. And here, I'm not correcting your typo. And here, Blanky have a meltdown in the car from the rooftop camera. He shut the car off, and we hear F, F, F.
It's not 600 mil. It's 647 mil.
Oh my gosh.
What?
And he has another one with 450. So it's Joe Gibbs Racing Crew Quick with it. And it's a pit stop. And it's the 5 lugs. And another one is Watch for Flying Lug Nuts, 415 mil. All of them are shorts, obviously. I want to see on the video side.
Why are there
like normal video?
So you're
the
saying
videos are like massively
we just need
low.
to start doing pit stops and we'll get views. Okay.
That's crazy.
And then he has a video that burnout he
The
did.
videos
Caught
are like
fire. Yeah,
that was cool. I like that.
56,000 is the most on a normal traditional video.
I'm going to do an experiment next race I go to and I have inside access. I'm just going to film a pit stop just one random pit stop and put that up there and see what happens.
It's a
You
good
know,
test.
I know it's just shorts, but you would think with that many views, is he making more money on YouTube than he is racing? Like with his
I mean,
contract?
Well,
I mean, 600 million views, even on a short's got to pay decent.
His pit
Well,
crew
'cause-
should be.
I mean, I'll reach the curtain back a little bit. I'll look at my most watched short, and we can times it by 647. Jesus, man, that's
you have a
insane.
short. You have a short with 1 million views.
Let's see. I believe I do.
'Cause I was trying
Yes.
to make you do the math.
Like
I
in full context for those who don't really do it the way we do, you don't make a lot of money on shorts. You really
No,
don't.
so I have one with 1.3 million views on shorts, and wow,
No.
it's actually popping off tonight. And it has
Random.
1 point. Okay, guys, 1.3 million views. I've had videos like the Teresa video and a Daytona video that have taken off and had over 1 million views, and it makes a decent amount of change. So it's pretty good. 1.3 million views on shorts got me $227.43. So let's just times it by 647.
Let me pull out a calculator.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You get the same number I got. It's pretty good.
That's $150,000.
Yes.
John
there
Hunter
you go.
Nemechek.
But the other thing is you have to also they pay more for shorts that are that are not $1, a minute or more longer. So if that short's just a pit stop and it's like 12 seconds, then you also have to divide that, I think, by 5 because it's about a fifth of the length. So it's still a lot. Like if it's 150,000, then you divide it by 5. So it's still like $30,000 you got out of it. But that many views. Holy shit.
Yeah, it took that. Yeah, that's a lot. That's crazy.
I'm realizing we're basically like pulling the curtain back and showing how the YouTube sausage is made here, but it's like it's interesting to us.
I have only 2 shorts that have made more than $10. Like that's how shorts work.
I don't want to get too. We did read another super chat in there about the Max live cameras, and I wanted to just agree that yes, that's that feature, especially now that they've properly synced up the video and audio, is really, really good. It's probably the best. It's the best version of that technology we've seen in NASCAR history. It's probably the best tool I've seen, the best second screen I've seen since the old NASCAR race view, like 3D models stuff. They basically gave you like a simplified SMT that fans could access at home, and it was awesome. This is probably the best thing since then, and in some ways it's better because you can rewind where you couldn't. I don't think you could do that with race view back in the day.
Andrew Winslow, appreciate you becoming a member of Danny B Superfans. Thank you for supporting the channel there, Andrew. We appreciate you having you each week supporting us, and now you are officially part of Danny B Superfans. Appreciate that. Fanap, I think that's how you pronounce that. Do you guys know Fanap?
No, but just the question.
I don't know what the comment means. I don't know if we should read it.
Yeah, I'm reading that too, and I'm just not sure. I'm not really gonna read that one.
If y'all want to, I'll read it.
We can move on.
Yeah.
We can move on. We can move on.
All right.
Yeah. Skip.
Yeah.
San Francisco, by the way. Just...
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Crash Travels USA. Appreciate the $4.99. I've always wondered how many tracks have you guys been to? What is your favorite / least favorite? What unvisited track do you want to go to next? That's a good question. I'm thinking about doing Dover this year. I think we might do Dover. I think that's the track we're going to go to. As far as how many tracks have I been to, last I counted, I want to say, even counting tracks that aren't in the sport anymore, like the class, like the LA Memorial Coliseum and Road America, I think I've been to 17 now total. Favorites, Bristol and Daytona are kind of up there in favorites. Least favorites, I don't know. I've only gone there once, and as a media member, the Wi-Fi connection was the worst I've ever experienced. Gateway is probably that one for me. The race, probably okay. I think I need to go give it a second chance, but I would probably put Gateway right there for now, sadly.
Hold on, I'm compiling my list. I'm almost
17.
there. I'm like trying to. It's everything from 2020 on for
I've
me.
been
It's
to.
like
I think I've been to 19 Cup venues, and that includes the two like that you said, Danny, like the Clash and Road America that are not on the schedule anymore. I think I've been to 19.
I've been to 8, and like half of it's been Daytona.
Yeah,
'cause I
most
know
I've been to
I'm-
Texas the most. I love going to Daytona. I think it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
Geographically, it's easy for me to get to. I like going to Central Florida and driving over to Daytona Beach. It's a nice time. Bristol's wild from the stands. Least favorite. I haven't been to any that I hate yet. Like I haven't been to a track where I went, oh God, like why do people enjoy it?
Texas.
Yeah, honestly, Texas probably is the worst that I've been to. Actually, no, I mean you're probably right, and I mean I have a soft spot for it, and it's not bad by any means.
I
It's
kind of liked Texas when I was there last year. Got free Andy's ice cream. That was nice.
like Texas is fine, and there's a lot around the track now, from Andy's to Bucky's to all sorts of stuff right there. So it's a nice area. But I'm saying that's probably actually honestly, it's that or Talladega. I was not in the infield at
Really?
Talladega had been renovated, but other than that, I was not particularly impressed with Talladega.
I
But
think
I've only been
I was
there.
not expecting that.
Talladega, if you're not there for the hectic chaos that happens in the infield, the race is basically it. I mean,
Wow. Okay.
it is an older venue, so
I should say, like, I still liked it. Like I'm saying, even Texas, it's like that's a solid track. I would recommend it.
Okay.
But like I think I had this image in my head of Talladega being just otherworldly in some ways, and in some ways it was.
Probably 'cause
But
of the
I-
infield.
only going to Daytona as a 2.5 mile super speedway. Going then to Talladega is kind of a shocker. Thankfully, I went to Talladega before I went to Daytona.
Okay.
I've been to 17, I think. I'm counting it right. So I've been to 17. I mean, soft spot, obviously, like Chicagoland and Michigan. But I mean, my all-time favorite track, just for the environment, the history, all of it, is Martinsville. Amenities, it's Daytona. I mean, I've been to US Bank Stadium. I've been to stadiums all over the country. Daytona is head and shoulders above the rest. It's amazing.
Very hard to beat them.
I will argue it's the best stadium style facility in the world.
It's fair.
I will
me-
put Coda very high up on my list now that I think about it. They are very world class.
It's up. It's definitely up there, but I would definitely put Daytona ahead just because of what it accomplished in doing so. But I'm gonna say for me, the lowest one for me was Richmond, and I'm not a big you guys know I'm not a big amenities person. Like that's not my thing. Like I'm very straightforward usually when I go to races. Like I don't really dilly dally. I do what I want and only what I want. There's nothing there. It's just a flat lot leading up. There's a few haulers, and maybe this is 2021, but this is like post all the COVID stuff. Like I went for the doubleheader, the Xfinity Cup doubleheader with Dale Jr. Racing, and it just was not great. The vendor tents were so far away from the track too, across the street, and it's just it needs to be built up. It's clear as day that the effort has not been put into that ISC track that so many others have gotten. And then the racing not being the greatest either didn't help the cause at all. Like I was more than happy to get up at 2 a.m. and drive to Cincinnati to go watch the Vikes play the Bengals that day. I was more than happy to do that.
I think I've only been to Daytona, Charlotte, Bristol, and LA. So I have a very limited area to work with. I say it's hard to say, but I would say LA. Not like LA was bad. It's just I felt like there was much more. I had much more fun at the other racetracks. But if I say the best, it's a toss-up between Daytona and Charlotte. Just because Charlotte, not only it's a great facility, but also there's so much to do outside the track. So I think I would between Daytona and Charlotte, and a place I would like to visit. Honestly, it is Mexico, just because it's going to be such a different NASCAR. So I'm very interested in like how NASCAR will use a different culture in Mexico and kind of weave it and mix it together. So
Yeah.
and also it's a great racetrack. So I would like to go there.
I also
Crash Travels USA. We appreciate that question. That was a good one. That really got us thinking. And
I was gonna say I've actually been to 20. I remembered I've been to Auto Club before it shut down, and that was probably my least favorite track I've been to. I was not impressed.
Wow. So he's saying good riddance. Glad it's gone. Don't have to come back.
I wish they'd turned it into a short track, but I did not I wouldn't have gone back. Let's just say to the 2 mile.
Gotcha.
If I lived there, I would. But I mean, the only reason I went there is because I was living there at the time. I would not travel to go to Auto Club.
I remember I was so jealous because like I went to the 500 and I so badly wanted to go to the West Coast Swing that year because like everyone ended up going to that, and I was just like, and then COVID hit, and I was just like, no. As I'm on the way to Atlanta, like I skipped 3 of the 4 races we're gonna get this year, and
oh wait, and then y'all did like a little quick live stream with Joey and Darren and those guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was wild, man.
That All-Star race that later that year hit like crack, just us being able to be there.
It really did, man. Oh.
Moving on, Gary Buki, appreciate the $5. Not sure if you guys talked about it, but who are you looking forward to most in the drivers only broadcast for trucks?
Hocevar and Cindric.
I don't want to be an asshole, but I will. But I'm looking forward to that not having Jamie Little as play-by-play.
Yeah,
and I hate I really do hate piling on because I think she is phenomenal in the pits. She is.
Well, that's not gonna stop us.
To me, no, but it's not gonna. No, but she, like to me, Jamie Little.
She's gonna make one start this week in some random NASCAR regional race, so she can come back in.
Also, for Jamie Little in the pits, and this is saying a lot for me because I'm such a huge fan of this person. I put her on the level of Steve Burns. I do. Like I put her on that level of Matt Yoakum, Steve Burns, the prime 90s, early 2000s broadcasters that set the tone for great broadcasting in the pits. I think she is just as good.
I also love how she's versatile. She knows NASCAR. Yeah. She can do IndyCar. So, but she still sucks in the booth. This doesn't.
Yeah, it's like I don't mind like. Okay, I'm trying to think of a better example. Someone as crazy as a Pat McAfee. I like him as a WWE commentator. I like him for College Game Day. I like him for his show. I've heard them then do the special broadcast for a college football game. I don't necessarily like that. There are parts of Pat I do like. There are parts that I don't like. Same thing with Jamie Little. There are parts that I think she is amazing at, and there's parts I don't think she's great at.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What was that guy that did the ARC race?
Brennan.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
This is another weird question, but it's not as weird as the first one. Rouser, appreciate the $2. I don't think we're going to answer that one though.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I'm so
I'm trying to set us up here for something. I don't know the answer to this question. So,
okay.
Hunter Nixon Fishing. We will end of you because man, you are generous as always. Greatly appreciate you, man. He's dropping another 100 bomb on us. Appreciate that generosity. I think he does it just because he's a Georgia Bulldog fan. He does that just to make my channel turn Georgia red. He knows I love the balls. He does that just for me, I bet. Appreciate that, buddy. One thing he says, one thing I'll say about Daytona Speedway is concessions. Lines, you're in and out super fast. Yeah, I mean, with that big of a venue, they've got honestly a good amount of options for concessions there at Daytona, and really gives you a good chance to not have a big line.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He said in the chat, you're right, Danny. It is make it turn Georgia red.
That's funny. There's also a lot of food just across the street from Daytona. So I know like when I would go there as a fan, and even last time I was there, I ate at the Raising Cane's across the street, like probably twice, just because it was convenient. It was open late. I could just drive through.
Hey, Hunter Nixon,
the Hooters one last time before they close.
Hey, Hunter Nixon, I don't like the Atlanta Falcons. My chat needs to be read.
Okay.
Screw Kirk Cousins. Dig that grave back up.
Damn.
Make it red in the chat.
Jupiter Rain coming in one more. Which $2? Which driver is likely to retire early? Chase Elliott? No, I say Kyle Larson. I want to go dirt racing.
Yeah.
Larson's the most likely for sure.
Yeah, Larson.
I feel
How many
like
years
there's
do you think he'll go?
It depends. I think honestly, it depends on what NASCAR and that panel decides in 2026 if Larson thinks it's worth it.
I think I could see him going through the end of this TV contract, but that might be pushing it because he's 33 now.
He's 32. He'll turn 33 this year.
32. So he'll be 38-ish, 39 by the end of this TV deal. I'm just trying to think like contractually, he might sign a 3.
I don't think he'll be racing NASCAR in his 40s. I really don't.
That's why I think he could be out by 40 is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like the end of this TV deal could be it.
I think body wise, there's a certain point you got to consider if he wants to dirt race a ton still and go after dirt championships. He needs to consider his youth to go after that still.
Especially with his own league or own series now.
Yeah.
And him racing more full because he demands and brings a presence in and of himself, and him being more involved in that, would help them a lot more too.
That was good questions.
Good stuff.
That'll do it. That's it for all the super chats. We appreciate everybody. Appreciate you all showing up and supporting the show as always. Appreciate Jet for joining us this week, and appreciate our good buddy Nicholas Caldwell from JGR stepping in and talk a little bit about Progressive and that new deal. Denny Hamlin fans, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Denny Delivers, are you in the chat? You can change your name to Denny Bundles, Denny Covers,
Denny Insures.
Denny Insures. I like
Jet, we appreciate you being here tonight. You can finally have a seat in that nice, comfortable chair and rest after a physical 2.5 hour show.
He's had his workout. He got to stand for a while.
He has earned a rest.
He should have got like a walking pad, and he could have just been exercising this whole time.
Damn, still out of frame.
Doesn't that feel good though?
Maybe you don't need to sit because then you just look like a little kid. Then
there you go.
Covered by the microphone.
There you go.
All right. Okay, there we go. Let's go with this. Oh, that feels good. My legs.
Oh man, it's been fun, man. And again, thank you for just the kick-ass graphics.
Hey,
Yes.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Anything I can do to help y'all out. It's awesome to see how y'all have grown from, because I remember going back and seeing y'all's first episodes. So now what it's like now, I'm just happy to help.
Hey, it's been great to have you be part of the ride. All these years. Good to have you on the show tonight, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Next
And you
week.
can get us next week over on Eric's channel. Live Wednesday night, March 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we will be going over everything that went down this weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway and getting you squared away for Martinsville. It's hot dog time after this weekend.
That break hard coming on too. Should be a lot of fun.
Yep. We'll see you then.
All right. Well,
Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
Started off right, pal.
Right on, come on. Get outside. 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggression. This other guy's a great car. You can go to all those guys up there. They can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see us a lot.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come. Coming light.
Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.